Chapter 472. She stared intently at the sculpture and carefully sketched on the canvas. If you feel hot, go back to the dormitory first. You don't have to accompany me. Oh, then don't say that I'm not a good friend. Tao Yinran was just about to leave when a tall figure walked out from behind the sculpture. It was a handsome young man in a white shirt and school pants. Even the simplest clothes on him would shine brightly because of his body's radiance. It was incomparably dazzling. His facial features were chiseled and his whole body exuded an unapproachable aura. He was high up as if he was standing in the clouds, making people look up to him. All the girls were peeking at him secretly. Isn't he that Luli? TSK, he doesn't even look at people when he walks. He's so arrogant. They say he's the most handsome guy in school, but I think he's just SOSO. He's so arrogant, so arrogant. Tao Yinran turned around and asked with a smirk. Hey, why are you blushing? I didn't. Tao Yuan lowered her head and didn't know where to look. Don't tell me you like him? I say you come here every noon to sketch just to wait for him. Is it worth it just to see him? I didn't. Don't talk nonsense. Don't deny it. It's written all over your face. I noticed that you blush every time you see him. Didn't you have a crush from middle school all the way to university? That's him, right? Don't deny it, I know you too well. Tao Yuan didn't know what to say. Her eyes were involuntarily attracted to that figure. As long as he was around, everything around him would become dim. Only he had color. She could hear her heartbeat thump, thump, beating very fast. You've liked him for so many years, does he know? Tao Yuan shook her head. I'm so insignificant, I can only look up to him forever, he doesn't even notice me. But this is enough, as long as I can like him, I'm already very happy. Come on, what kind of weird idea is that? Of course you have to let him know that you like him. Otherwise, if he had a girlfriend and you didn't even confess to him, don't you think it's a pity? If you like someone, you should say it and let him be your boyfriend. Tao Yuan smiled bitterly. I'm not you. I can only silently like him. Even if I confess, he won't like me. How would you know if you don't try? Let me help you. Tao Yinran said and ran toward Lu Li. Yinran. Tao Yuan was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. She wanted to escape, but she also wanted to know how he would react. Would he be annoyed by the fact that such an ordinary person had a crush on him? Would he hate her and despise her for overestimating herself? Tao Yinran's eyebrows danced as she talked and laughed. Lu Li's lips also seemed to be holding a faint smile. Is he smiling? Tao Yuan was a little surprised. For the past 7 years he only smiled when he was with his male friends. He was always cold to girls, but he smiled at Tao Yinran. Could it be that he liked her? She couldn't help feeling sour in her heart. No, Yinran was going to confess to him on her behalf. She saw the two of them exchange phone numbers and then Tao Yinran ran back. How was it? What did he say? Tao Yuan felt so nervous that she was about to collapse. She was not even this nervous when the college entrance examination results were announced. Huh? What did he say? Didn't you say you would confess to him on my behalf? Did I? I forgot about it. But it doesn't matter. If I confess too quickly, he will be disgusted. I'll build a good relationship with him first and then I'll introduce you to him. Don't worry, I'll mention you to him from time to time so he won't resist. Tao Yinran texted and left. At that time, Tao Yuan vaguely sensed that something was about to change. However, she didn't expect it to be so soon. But a week later, Tao Yinran leaned on Lu Li's arms and proudly showed off. Yuan, this is my boyfriend Lu Li. Ali, this is my friend Tao Yuan. The man she had a crush on for 6 years had become her best friend's boyfriend. This was a great irony for Tao Yuan. She wanted to shout at her. I saw him first, why did you take him away? However, what right did she have to say such a thing? He had never belonged to her. There was no first come, first served in love. She just lost the two people she cared about the most in a flash. Her heart was broken. When Tao Yuan woke up, she could still feel the despair and sadness in her dream. Her eyes were warm with tears. You're awake? Lu Li came over with a glass of water. He was still the same as in her memory, the handsome man who was born with a halo. Tao Yuan couldn't tell whether it was a dream or reality for a moment. Did you have a nightmare? You've been crying. Lu Li tried to filter out the feelings in his words, but he still couldn't help revealing a trace of heartache. She cried for a long time and he had been wiping her tears. Intuition told him that she was so sad because she dreamed of him. He had always been the source of her sadness. No matter how much he hated her, no matter how many things she had done to disgust him, there was one thing he had never denied from the beginning to the end. That was, this woman used to love him with her life and he was her everything. Apart from anything else, he should be grateful that he had been loved so passionately. It was a dream and it was time to wake up. They were no longer teenagers. Now she was his wife, but their marriage had come to an end. Tao Yuan wiped her tears. Why are you here? Did you forget? You fainted and I found a doctor for you. I don't need your sympathy. She was so stubborn. Cute. Lu Li twitched the corner of his mouth. I'll take that as thanks. Why should I thank you? It's all thanks to you that I'm like this. If it weren't for you, there wouldn't be so much trouble. What about me? Lu Li expressed his innocence. You don't know why Xiaolan is making things difficult for me? Why do you think? It can't be because of me, right? You heard it just now, she doesn't know our relationship at all. She's making things difficult for you purely because she lost the watch. I've already asked the police to investigate clearly. That watch was stolen by Xiaomei, and now it has been returned to her, and the misunderstanding has been cleared up. Facts have proven that I'm a benefactor who helped you solve your problems, not an enemy who caused trouble for you. You're biting the hand that feeds you. Tao Yuan didn't want to accept his kindness. Even though it was the truth, she still stubbornly said. Anyway, you're in that kind of relationship. You found the watch to please her, not for me. Why should I please her? You know it in your heart. You don't think that I slept with her, do you? Yes, it's normal. How many women have slept with you, Boss Lu? From female stars to female models, which one of them isn't a great beauty? Tao Yuan didn't realize the sarcasm in her words. She wasn't like this in the past, but now her attitude was more aggressive, probably because she was feeling unwell. She saw that Lu Li's eyebrows were gradually dyed with a bit of a smile, like ink dripping into water, slowly dizzying, exuding a trace of joy. Are you jealous? I'm just stating an objective fact and I don't mean to be jealous at all. But, to be honest, most of the women you date are beautiful but not intelligent. They're like aggressive hens and they've caused me a lot of trouble. I feel quite innocent. I didn't stop you from dating any of them, and they don't have to treat me as a love rival. You often forget your identity as Mrs. Lu. No matter what, you're my Lu Li's wife in name. It's normal to be the public enemy of women. Tao Yuan said without hesitation. Then I'm very willing to give up the position of Mrs. Lu. Have you asked Mr. Lu if he's willing? Lu Li's question was faint, but it still carried a lot of weight. If he didn't want to let go of someone, then even if she had 3 heads and 6 arms, she wouldn't be able to escape from his palm. As long as I don't agree, then you'll have to take the position of Mrs. Lu for the rest of your life. I never thought of spending the rest of my life with you. In the past, she had thought about it and poured all her fantasies and expectations into it. However, the reality was cruel. After she woke up from her beautiful dream, it became a nightmare that she never wanted to experience again. What if I want to? Tao Yuan shook her head, feeling that it was ridiculous and ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about. He could casually say the rest of my life, but that was because he didn't care at all. It was just a joke. A person like him didn't have a heart at all. Realizing that the topic seemed to have strayed a little, Lu Li said. Xiaolan and I are not what you think. After I left home last night, I went back to the hotel alone and happened to enter the door with her. We were photographed by the reporters and that's how it was written. Tao Yuan was in a daze. Was he explaining to her? In the past 3 months, he had been with so many women, but he had never explained anything to her. Don't look at me like that, I'm not afraid of you misunderstanding. But I admit what I've done and don't try to slander me if I haven't done it. Sure enough, she was imagining things again. Tao Yuan knew it. However, the fact that he didn't have sex with Xiaolan lessened the pain in her chest, and she didn't feel so bad anymore. Deep down, did she still care which woman he was with? It shouldn't be like this. Nowadays, the reporters are getting better at making up stories. It seems that it's time to shut down a few media outlets. Lu Li narrowed his eyes and a cruel glint flashed across his eyes. What has it got to do with the media? It's your own style that has a problem. You have so many scandals and the women around you change every day. No wonder people think that way. Oh? Won't this ruin my glorious image? Lu Li seemed to ponder seriously for a while. I've just taken over Wilton, and it's time to establish my authority. It's not good to be surrounded by scandals. It seems that I should often go out with you to show off your love and establish a good man's image. Tao Yuan rolled her eyes. Chapter 473. Lu Li just smiled, walked up to her and leaned over. His hot breath blew into Tao Yuan's nose, making her already hot body even hotter. She couldn't help but shrink back. What are you doing? Fortunately, her face was burning red, which could cover up her blush. However, Lu Li saw through her bashfulness at a glance. No matter how strong she was still the same as before. She would easily feel shy when she was a little closer to him. His big hand landed on her forehead, paused for a few seconds and then touched both sides of her cheeks. His hand was very cold and very comfortable, but it did not ease the heat in her body at this moment. Instead, it made her even more nervous. She held her breath slightly. His handsome face, which was so close to hers, looked even better when he was serious. How could a man's eyelashes be so long? They were long and thick like a fan, fluttering. No wonder his eyes were so magical. They were so deep, as if they could pull her heart into it, making it sink deeper and deeper. Thump, thump, she could hear her heartbeat. It was very fast. She became like a 16 or 17-year-old girl. After Luli touched her face, he touched his own. The fever seems to have subsided. You just had a fever of 42 degrees, do you know that? He had also had such a high fever before. Even a man would find it hard to endure it, let alone a weak girl like her. She must be a masochist. Going to work with a fever of 42 degrees, are you deliberately worsening your condition? It's best if you burn yourself into an idiot so that you can extort high compensation? Is burning myself into an idiot considered a work injury? Of course. Luli smiled gently and said in a gentle and polite manner. Being retarded is also a kind of disability. Tao Yuan was speechless. Where am I now? My private lounge. She knew that the hotel had a presidential suite specially reserved for him to rest in. Did you carry me back? Aha. Luli couldn't help but grumble. You don't have any flesh on your body. It's uncomfortable to carry you. It's like carrying a human skeleton. Didn't many people see it? So what? It was a rhetorical question, but it revealed an indifferent attitude. It's not illegal to hug your own wife, right? It's not good to do this in the hotel. Be careful. These words made Luli feel like he was listening to a joke. When you and that wild man Fang Yicheng were making out, why didn't you consider the consequences? Is there something wrong with your husband's head? As soon as he said Fang Yicheng's name, Tao Yuan instinctively felt uncomfortable. I'll go back to work first. But as soon as he got up, he felt dizzy and fell back down. He closed his eyes, feeling weak for a long time. Luli had a "you deserve it" expression on his face. Don't force yourself if you can't do it. No matter what, let's finish the drip first. He glanced at the infusion bottle. There was only a little left. I'm going out for a while. I'll be right back. Just lie down and don't go anywhere. Luli took 2 steps and looked back. After making sure that she couldn't escape from him in her current condition, he left. He opened the door and Xiaolan was about to press the doorbell. He closed the door with a cold expression. What's the matter? Xiaolan was hugging a bouquet of flowers. Her usual noble and elegant image was nowhere to be found. In front of a man with such a strong aura, the 1.7-meter-tall woman also became like a little bird. She was like an obedient little wife, and her voice was also soft and gentle. I'm here to apologize to team leader Tao. Is she inside? She's resting. Oh, what a coincidence. Although Xiaolan said this, she was more than happy to be alone with Luli like this. I'm really sorry about this. I didn't mean to cause trouble for team leader Tao, but there were only the 3 of us, so it was inevitable to suspect her. And I didn't know she was your wife. You mean she wouldn't have done this if she was Mrs. Lu, but it was possible if she was Tao Yuan? Lu Li's words carried a hint of mockery, but Xiaolan was very nervous and didn't hear it. She nodded hard. Of course you are Lu Li, Boss Lu's wife. You have everything. How could you steal a watch worth more than 1,000,000 yuan? It was true that others judged you not based on who you were, but on your identity. This was the way society worked. There was nothing wrong with it. However, Luli didn't like women being so snobbish. In contrast, Tao Yuan didn't have this shortcoming. Whether it was a VIP customer or an ordinary tourist, her attitude was the same. She never gave them any special treatment. Seeing that Luli was about to leave, Xiaolan hurriedly said, No matter what, it's my fault. No matter what, it's all my fault. I wanted to apologize to Mrs. Lu, but she's resting, so I won't disturb her. Would Boss Lu like to accept my apology on behalf of your wife? Why don't we go downstairs to the cafe? Xiaolan's fingers fell on Lu Li's tie. She fiddled with it, her eyes mesmerizing. Lu Li's lips curved. He turned around and pressed her against the wall. His body was like a cheetah. Xiaolan let out a cry. So manly. Her heart was beating faster. His devilishly charming face was close to hers, and his breath was filled with the scent of a man. What are we going to the cafe for? Xiaolan bit her lip, trying hard to maintain her seductive posture. The fish had finally taken the bait. She had to make good use of it. Let's have a cup of coffee, or do whatever you want. Luli smiled deeply, moved closer to her ear and said slowly, what do you think? Unfortunately, I'm not interested in drinking coffee or you at all. Also, you've been blacklisted. In the future, no hotel under Wilton's brand in the world will accept you as a customer. Xiaolan went for wool and came home shorn. Her face was extremely ugly. She was a supermodel. It had always been men chasing after her. When had she ever been humiliated like this? Her eyes turned red and her nose turned sour. Why are you doing this to me? You don't have a good relationship with her, right? You've played with so many women. Why can't I? You don't have to worry about the relationship between my wife and me. No matter how bad it is, she's still my woman. I won't allow anyone to disrespect her. Also, I'm not interested in a stupid woman like you. Don't embarrass yourself. After saying this, Luli turned around and strode away. Xiaolan sat on the floor and burst into tears, not caring about her image. Luli finished his work as fast as he could and rushed back to the presidential suite. But the bed was empty. He couldn't help but be angry. That damned woman had escaped again. Tao Yuan was in a daze. Suddenly she felt a sharp pain on her eyelids. It was so painful that she raised her hand to block it. Don't turn on the light. The footsteps approached and a figure stopped by the bed. She opened her eyes impatiently. Lu Li's figure immediately appeared in front of her. He didn't even take off his jacket. He was wearing a black suit and looked very cold. He had the bleakness of the winter wind, making her shiver. How did you get in? How hard can it be for me to come in? Lu Li waved the key in front of her. Tao Yuan felt very tired. Get out. I want to sleep. Didn't I tell you to stay in the room? Why did you run home? My legs are on my own. I can come back if I want to. Why do you care? Tao Yuan's tone was very harsh. She was already feeling uncomfortable and now her mood was even worse. After he left, she removed the drip. She didn't expect to see him flirting with Xiaolan intimately when she stepped out of the door. A few minutes ago he had just said that nothing had happened between them, but they were already so intimate. They were even at the door when she was still having a high fever. In the afternoon, he had been so protective of her and had been taking care of her, so she had the illusion that he more or less cared about her. However, she was too stupid. This man didn't just have 2 faces. He had 100 faces. He said one thing to her face and another behind her back. He didn't say a word of truth. He hadn't slept with Xiaolan. He just hadn't done it for the time being. He would still do it in the end. Perhaps he had just gotten out of her bed and was running over to look for her. He thought he was very good at dealing with 2 women at the same time, didn't he? Didn't he have any shame and didn't he feel disgusted? Who spoiled you with such a bad temper? It's not you. After saying that, Tao Yuan shrank her head into the quilt angrily. Lu Li walked over and tugged at her quilt. You will suffocate yourself like this. She hid under the quilt and curled up into a ball, holding on tightly. But how could she be as strong as a man? He tugged hard and tore the quilt away. Tao Yuan was pulled up by him. Her hair was messy and she looked like a crazy person. What are you doing? Can't you let me sleep? Tao Yuan screamed at him crazily. I'm a patient. Lu Li rarely saw her like this. He didn't feel impatient. Instead, he felt that it was quite cute, like a crazy hen. You still know that you're a patient? It's already past 10 o'clock. Get up and eat. After eating, go back to sleep. I don't want to eat. You have to eat even if you don't want to. Eat and take your medicine before going back to sleep. He directly grabbed her wrist. His hand was as cold as ice and she screamed. Your hand is so cold. Let go of me, you're so hot. Can you warm me up? As he said that, he picked her up. She was as light as a feather, like a ball of soft cotton. Tao Yuan kicked and struggled. Don't touch me. I hate it when you hug me. This pair of hands might have just hugged Xiaolan and touched her body. They had interacted like water and milk. Thinking of this, Tao Yuan felt disgusted and goosebumps rose all over her body. You'll be bored hiding in the room. You have to come out and get some fresh air. I've turned on the heater so it's not cold in the living room. He put her on the sofa, then took off his long black trench coat and then took off his suit and tie. His slender index finger pressed on the bow tie. With a gentle tug, he tore it open, revealing a section of his Adam's apple. He threw the tie aside. It was a very ordinary action, but it was incomparably charming in his performance. Tao Yuan couldn't ignore the manly smell coming from him from head to toe. She simply turned her head to the side. Sit down. I'll cook noodles for you. Chapter 474. Tao Yuan thought to herself, how could a pampered young master like him know how to cook? He would definitely set her kitchen on fire. She was a patient and she had to clean up his mess later. She was really unlucky. But she didn't hear the sound of pots and pans falling to the ground for a long time. She turned around and saw that he was actually busy. The light poured down from the top of his head, and that tall figure seemed to be plated with a faint golden light, which was exceptionally dazzling. He was wearing a white shirt, and his sleeves were rolled up to his forearms. He lowered his head and was chopping vegetables. He was too tall and the stove was a little low for him, so he had to bend his body, and even that arc was extremely beautiful. She could even see his eyelashes clearly. Tao Yuan didn't realize that she was holding her breath. She had imagined this scene countless times, so it seemed so unreal at this moment, like a dream. Lu Li cooking for her personally? She must be dreaming. She lay on the sofa and looked at him in a daze. Until the handsome man walked out of the kitchen with 2 bowls of noodles and flirtatiously winked at her. Do you finally know what it means to be a feast for the eyes? Tao Yuan turned her face to the side guiltily. Of course she would not admit it. Eat the noodles. I'm not hungry. Gurgle. Her stomach immediately made an honest protest, and Tao Yuan looked embarrassed. Going against your own body is the stupidest thing. Even if you want to quarrel with me, at least fill your stomach first. Otherwise, you won't have the strength to resist whatever I want to do to you later. Tao Yuan pouted. You say it as if I can resist once I'm full. Since you can't resist, then enjoy it. My cooking skills are not ordinary. Usually, men will overestimate themselves in 2 things. First, their influence in the heart of their ex-girlfriend. Second, their own ability. Tao Yuan said without giving him any face. That's very accurate. Lu Li passed the chopsticks to her. He didn't seem to be moved and he spoke slowly. We're still married. You're not my ex-girlfriend. You know my influence in your heart better than anyone else. I definitely didn't overestimate it. As for my ability, you don't have to worry at all. Of course, words are no proof. Only by putting it into practice will you be convinced. Tao Yuan chuckled. I don't think I'll have the chance to practice it. There will be plenty of opportunities. I'm not in a hurry. Previously, Lu Li had always thought that the pleasure between a man and a woman was just a few seconds. However, he wanted to take it slow with Tao Yuan and achieve it bit by bit. The feeling would definitely be better. Tao Yuan took a whiff. The noodles were quite fragrant and looked good, far exceeding her expectations. I didn't expect you to cook. I thought you were messing with me on purpose. What can't I do? Lu Li asked confidently. He was more or less a little arrogant, but he had that kind of capital, so it became his charm, not making people feel disgusted. Don't forget that I built my business empire in the United States with my bare hands. When I went there, I didn't take a single cent from my family. I'm a poor kid with no status, so I have to rely on myself for everything. I've tried eating only instant noodles for a week. He said it in a nonchalant tone. He didn't think that the bitterness in the early days of starting a business was tiring or bitter. Instead, it was like a man's medal, something to be proud of. Because it was those hardships and predicaments that sharpened the success of a successful person. Tao Yuan had always admired Lu Li for this. Actually, the children of rich families were mostly smart and had broader horizons than ordinary people. However, there was also a drawback, which was that they were pampered and couldn't take hardship. For example, Fang Yicheng. If he took over the family business, he could run it well, but if he had to fight alone, he might not be able to do it. Moreover, it took a lot of courage to give up the family business and rely on himself to make a name for himself. She believed that most people would choose to stand on the shoulders of giants and expand the territory of the family business. However, Lu Li was different. He chose to give up everything he had and rely on himself to start from scratch. This was also the difference between him and the other children of rich families. Whether it was business skills or ability, people in this circle would give him a thumbs up when they mentioned him. Of course, these young girls' admiration, Tao Yuan chose to hide it in her heart. She mumbled, "Not really. You can go and show your face. If you go into the business world, there must be many rich women who are willing to support you." Lu Li sneered. "I'm a man with integrity." You roll around in the bed of different women every day and you're talking to me about integrity? Are you kidding me? There's an essential difference between a man playing with a woman and a man being played by a woman. How can I, Lu Li, be played by a woman? Tao Yuan took a big bite of the noodles. Male chauvinism. Wait, what did she eat? She quickly spat it out. Coriander? Don't you know that I hate eating coriander? Tao Yuan gulped down a big mouthful of water, but still felt that there was that taste in her mouth. Lu Li thought that she was making a fuss about nothing. You're still picky when the fever is so bad? I just don't eat coriander. You don't eat onion, ginger, garlic or any other condiments. You don't eat tomatoes and eggplants either. That's what you call being picky, okay? Lu Li's eyes lit up, and a sly smile appeared on his face. Didn't you say that you've forgotten everything? Seems like you remember it very clearly. I've said before that I definitely didn't overestimate my influence in your heart. No matter how much you deny it, you'll still be exposed. She snorted and ignored him. She lowered her head and carefully picked out the coriander from the bowl. Lu Li looked at her serious expression as if she was doing something big. The fever made her face a little red, the kind that was white with a hint of red. Her whole face was pink and tender like an apple, which made her facial features even more delicate and attractive. A strand of hair slipped down and swayed gently by her cheek. It was like a feather that tickled Lu Li's heart, making it sway slightly. He couldn't deny that this woman was really charming at certain moments. After picking out all the coriander, Tao Yuan finally felt relieved and took a bite. His cooking skills weren't as good as hers, but it was still okay. Do my noodles taste good? Pfft. Tao Yuan's mouthful of noodles was stuck in her throat, and she almost couldn't swallow it. She couldn't help but roll her eyes at this thick-skinned man. Tao Yuan pouted. "It's okay, average standards." After quickly finishing a bowl of noodles, Tao Yuan threw the bowl and chopsticks down and ran back to her room. After the 4 drip and using the blanket to cover her sweat, she didn't feel that bad anymore. She was in a good state of mind. She picked up her phone and realized that there was a missed call from Lin Wei. She replied with a question mark on WeChat. After a while, Lin Wei replied, asking if she was free to attend any department activities tomorrow. Considering that she had been transferred away, Tao Yuan felt that it wasn't that convenient, but she really missed some of her old colleagues, so she finally agreed. She didn't have to work on the weekend, so she had to find an excuse to avoid Lu Li, right? Take your medicine. Lu Li suddenly walked in, giving her a fright. Why didn't you knock? He said confidently. You didn't lock the door. She actually forgot. Take your medicine. Lu Li stuffed 2 pills and a cup of warm water into her hands. Tao Yuan quickly took it, mainly to quickly get rid of him. Thank you. So you know how to say thank you. She immediately replied. Of course I know how to say it, I'm not you. He reached out his hand and Tao Yuan immediately shrank back. The hand that was about to reach his forehead landed on her cheek, and he held the right side of her face. The contact of skin ignited sparks, and Tao Yuan's whole body heated up, like a block of wood, and she couldn't move. He touched her for a long time, not letting go. She gulped and couldn't help but ask. Are you checking my temperature or taking advantage of me? Of course I'm taking advantage of you. She slapped his hand away. I'll be next door tonight, call me if you need anything. Or, for the convenience of taking care of you, we can sleep in the same room. His words were very ambiguous and his gaze was burning. Tao Yuan couldn't help but blush. Who wants to sleep with you? It would be a wonder if she could sleep like that. Don't have any bad ideas. What bad ideas can I have? I'm just afraid that you'll have a fever in the middle of the night. It's very pitiful to have no one to take care of you when you're sick. It was originally an unintentional sentence, but when Tao Yuan heard it, she felt uncomfortable. After working hard for 3 years, her health had always been poor and she was often sick. The most exaggerated time was when she called for an ambulance in the middle of the night. In the past, she was used to it and didn't think much of it, but after hearing what he said, she felt that she was quite pitiful. She clearly had a husband, but she was always alone and no one cared about her. He didn't even say things like, drink more hot water. In this marriage, how unfortunate and how much of a failure was she? In just a few seconds she thought a lot, but in the end, it only turned into the most indifferent smile on her lips. I have so much work every day and I can't even finish it. How can I have the time to pity myself? Her tone was very indifferent, the kind that she didn't care at all. Lu Li knew that she might not be trying to be brave. Perhaps her heart was already strong to that extent. However, if she had a choice, which woman would be willing to be so strong? In the past 3 years he didn't care about her at all. Just how much hardship did she go through to become as calm as she was now? When he thought about it, his heart couldn't help but ache a little. To this woman he more or less admired her. After taking the medicine, Tao Yuan slept like a log. When she woke up the next day, she felt as if she had been injected with chicken blood. She was full of blood and energy, and she was full of energy. At around 10 o'clock, she dawdled out of bed, washed up, and carefully picked out her clothes. She put on light makeup suitable for going out and even showed off in front of the mirror. Clothes make the man, and it was indeed different after dressing up. But as soon as she opened the door, her good mood immediately disappeared. Lu Li sat in the dining room holding a cup of coffee and reading a newspaper. He didn't seem to have any intention of going out. He was dressed casually and his hair was not tidied up. It was so fluffy and soft on his forehead, natural and comfortable, making him look much more amiable. Chapter 475. Lu Li raised his head and looked at her. He could not help but stare at her for a few more seconds. She was dressed casually today, but it could be seen that she had dressed up meticulously. Her hair was tied up in a bun. Her skin was fair and she was very cute. Compared to a strong career woman, Lu Li seemed to prefer the lowly style in front of him. He liked it when she changed her style. Tao Yuan felt a little uncomfortable under his gaze. Why are you looking at me with such a strange expression? Are you planning to go out? You just recovered from your illness and you can't wait to go out and seduce men? Don't forget that I was the one who took care of you when you were half dead yesterday. What seduce men? Don't make it sound so bad. The original department dinner, going to the park for a barbecue. Lu Li raised his eyebrows. With your current physical condition, is it suitable for barbecue? It's mainly for the atmosphere. Who would really go for a barbecue? A group of people surrounding a pile of charcoal to absorb carbon monoxide is called atmosphere? What's the difference between that and mass suicide? 3 lines appeared on Tao Yuan's forehead. Why did barbecue become such a joyful thing in his words? If we don't get along, it's better not to waste words with him. Are you sure you want to go? Yes. Give me 5 minutes. I'll go with you. He put down the newspaper and stood up. Tao Yuan had difficulty digesting his words. You're going with me? Barbecue? Yes. Is there a problem? It was obviously a big problem, okay? How could he act as if he was in the right? Didn't you say it's a mass suicide? Then why are you going with me? I didn't invite you. You just had a fever. I'm worried. I'm fine now and I have so many colleagues. What's there to worry about? It'll be strange if you go to our department dinner. What's strange? You're the CEO. The difference in status is too big. During the dinner, everyone will inevitably complain about the hotel. If you go, will they dare to speak freely? You're depriving most of the fun of the dinner. Besides, the atmosphere will be strange if you're there. Lu Li raised his eyebrows, a beautiful and dangerous arc. Why? Are you unhappy with the hotel? Don't worry, I'm going as your family member. I'll pretend I didn't hear those words. With you around, they don't have the guts to say anything, okay? Tao Yuan was speechless at his train of thought. Moreover, our relationship isn't close enough for us to attend a department dinner as a family activity. Aren't we intimate even though we're living together? How do you want to be intimate? Lu Li took a big step forward, intending to be more intimate with her. I have to do it before it counts? Tao Yuan hurriedly made a stop gesture. I've never heard that we can bring family members. Maybe the department's budget is limited. I'll allocate 100,000 yuan now. Is that enough? Tao Yuan wanted to say, are you crazy? Which department would need 100,000 yuan for a barbecue? Did he have nowhere to spend his money? Anyway, I can't bring my family and it's not suitable for you to go. That's it. As he spoke, he was in a hurry to escape, but I can cancel today's event as soon as I make a phone call. She stopped in her tracks and turned around. He really was holding the phone and looked like he was going to make a call at any time. She could not help but frown. Don't be so unreasonable, okay? How can you cancel the event just because of me? Is there anything I can't do? It depends on whether I want to do it or not. Are you going to leave me behind? Listening to his tone, it was as if she had abandoned him. That was clearly not the case, okay? I'll change my clothes. Tao Yuan imagined how everyone would look when he was present, trembling with fear as they sat upright. No, that was too much of a wet blanket. No matter what, she could not bring him there. She wanted to escape when he turned around, but before she could move, she was grabbed by a big hand. Lu Li had an expression that said, I knew it would be like this, and there was a hint of complacency between his brows. It seems that you prefer to watch me change my clothes. I don't. Hey, don't pull me. After being dragged into the room, the man locked the door and began to take off his clothes. First, he took off his jacket and wore a white vest underneath. His strong chest and abdominal muscles were faintly discernible under the vest, like a few beasts lying in wait, waiting for the opportunity to hunt. Tao Yuan secretly exclaimed in her heart, ah, so big. Muscles were a symbol of masculinity. Without a doubt, Lu Li was a beast that exuded masculinity. Moreover, not only did he have strong muscles but he also had a smart mind. He must be God's favorite to be so loved that even a woman like her was jealous. Lu Li strode towards her with a smile on his face, like a beast that was about to eat, about to swallow her up. Her expression changed. What are you doing? In the next second, Tao Yuan was pressed against the wardrobe within his range. He pressed down so naturally she could not resist at all, and her body went limp just like that. Her gaze fell on his shoulders. The vest highlighted the breadth of his shoulders, like two small mountains. The lines of the muscles on his arms were slender and beautiful, containing the strength of a man. She could not help but swallow her saliva. No wonder women yearn for a man's arms. Being hugged by such a pair of arms, one would probably never want to leave. By the time she finished daydreaming, Lu Li's face was already in front of her. Because it was too close, she did not dare to move, and her back was pressed tightly against the wardrobe. He smiled deeply, and that smile was filled with evil intentions. So when he pressed his head down, Tao Yuan cried out anxiously. What are you doing? She turned her head to avoid his lips, so his thin, rippling lips landed beside her ear, ruffling her eardrums. She felt her body trembling like a cornered, pitiful little rabbit. What am I doing? I'm just taking clothes. Why are you so nervous? He then let go of her. When his breath left, Tao Yuan realized that she had almost suffocated. Her face was red and her heart was beating fast. Damn it, why did he have such strong hormones in his body? After being teased by him, Tao Yuan was completely dazed. It was only when she got into the car that she slowly came to her senses. Looking at Lu Li who was driving, her heart was filled with guilt towards her colleagues. Today's joyous barbecue was destined to be ruined. She still did not give up. Actually, I don't have to participate. The two of us can just have a meal alone. We're already here and you're only telling me this now? Lu Li stared at the road ahead, leaving her with a handsome side profile. His high nose bridge outlined the lines of his sculpted face. His narrow nose had the exclusive nobility of the aristocracy. We can turn around in front. Do you think that I'm a family member is embarrassing? That I'm not presentable? It's not that I'm not presentable, but if I'm too presentable, I'm afraid of scaring others. Lu Li replied casually, obviously not moved by her flowery words. That day's situation Tao Yuan had already predicted. The atmosphere of the barbecue was not the least bit joyous, and everyone was unable to let go. The men quietly barbecued, feeling inferior, while the women were silently smitten, obviously feeling that Lu Li was much more delicious than the barbecue. Tao Yuan felt that she was a sinner. When Lu Li came back from the phone call, Tao Yuan was helping to set up the grill, her forehead slightly sweating. Her fever had just subsided, and if she caught a cold, it would easily relapse. Wait, he was actually worried about her? Is he president? Lin Wei called out in a trembling voice, her face flushed red. She needed a lot of courage before she dared to speak to him. What's the matter? Lu Li tried his best not to put on airs. Put on airs, that was how Tao Yuan described him. But he never felt that he purposely put on airs in front of his subordinates. But things like aura, and identity would unknowingly increase the distance between him and others, and also create pressure for others. He could not change that. I am Sister Yuan's assistant. Do you still remember me? Lu Li had some impression of her. Back when Zhang Mingmei and Tao Yuan were fighting, this subordinate was very loyal and courageous. He nodded slightly and Lin Wei was flattered. She thought that he had long forgotten about a nobody like her. President, are you and Sister Yuan getting back together? I know it's not appropriate for me to ask this, but I really want her to be happy. Getting back together? We are not divorcing. I know, but you left for 3 years and now that you're back, you're always with those female celebrities. Lin Wei carefully considered her words. But since you accompanied Sister Yuan here today, it means that you still like her, right? At least your relationship is not as stiff as before. This question Lu Li did not have an answer in his heart. During this period of time, he had spent a lot of effort on Tao Yuan, including moving into her house. His original intention was to make her unhappy, to stop her from dating those wild men. However, her personal life did not seem to be as messy as he previously thought. When she was at home, she never made any suspicious calls, nor did she try to hide anything. Sometimes when he teased her, she would be very shy, and it did not seem like she was faking it. She was really not used to intimate contact with men. How could a woman who slept with thousands of men be as sensitive as a virgin? So slowly he started to wonder if his current goal was still the same as before. It seemed to be different. He could not tell exactly what it was, but it was definitely different. President? What are you thinking about? Nothing. Lu Li drank a mouthful of beer and it was cold as it slid down his throat. The weather was very cold and one sip made his scalp numb, but he was much more awake. I don't know what happened between you and Sister Yuan, but you seem to have some misunderstanding about her. But she is really a good woman. I have worked for her for 2 years and I know her character very well. In public she is a good superior. She is smart, hardworking, gentle, generous, and outstanding. Other superiors often scold their subordinates, but when I do something wrong she never scolds me. Instead she patiently teaches me. Following her I have learned a lot. Chapter 476. Then what about Fang Yicheng? Lu Li asked sourly. I knew you would mention Manager Fang. He likes Sister Yuan a lot and treats her extremely well. I don't think any woman can resist such an attack. I've asked Sister Yuan about it, but she said she only sees him as a friend. At least before the divorce she won't consider any other man. Did she really say that? So she was just acting all this while, pretending to be with Fang Yicheng? She didn't just say that, she did it too. President, don't believe the rumors out there. They don't know Sister Yuan at all. They're just spouting nonsense to hurt her. I'm the one who knows her the best. I can swear that she hasn't been with any other man for the past few years. Lu Li had mixed feelings. Could it be that Tao Yuan told her to say all this? She only wanted to get a divorce so she wouldn't do such a thing. But could she be saying one thing to his face and another behind his back? Most importantly, she hadn't cheated on him? Lu Li stared at Tao Yuan, feeling conflicted. How many secrets were hidden under that calm and pretty face? Sister Yuan is beautiful, capable, and independent. She can do anything. I often felt that she must be the most outstanding woman in the world, 100% woman. She takes care of me like a big sister. She even bought the condoms for me when I had sex with my boyfriend for the first time. What did you say? Lu Li's expression changed. Lin Wei wanted to slap herself. How could she have brought that up? How could she have brought it up? She bought condoms for you? Could it be that the condoms that fell out of her pocket were for Lin Wei? She had said that she was buying them for a colleague, but he thought it was a lie. This had always been a knot in Lu Li's heart. It was also one of the reasons why he believed that Tao Yuan had cheated on him. How could a decent woman carry condoms with her everywhere? But she really bought them for a colleague? He had been troubled by this for the past few days. Now that the misunderstanding had been cleared, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But it was undeniable that he was in a good mood. President, what are you laughing at? It's nothing. Lu Li put the beer aside, walked over to Tao Yuan and sat beside her. She was trying to light a fire, but the smokeless charcoal was too much for her to handle. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't start a fire. Let me. Lu Li fiddled with it for a while and the charcoal was quickly ignited. Tao Yuan's eyes widened in surprise. As expected, this kind of work should be done by men. Your fire-making skills are as bad as they were in college. In the winter of 2010, your class organized a picnic, and you were in charge of lighting the fire. I can't open my eyes because of the smoke and my face is dirty. Tao Yuan was stunned. She didn't expect him to remember something that happened so long ago. What she didn't expect the most was that she was in his memories. At that time he was already Tao Yanran's boyfriend. The two of them were a loving couple, enviable, and she was just an ordinary bystander. She didn't want to hurt herself. She didn't want to go, but in the end she still longed to see him, even if the intimacy between him and Tao Yanran would hurt her heart. She still clearly remembered that the sun was shining brightly that day. He was wearing a snow-white shirt, sitting beside her, taking the fan from her hand and saying, "Let me do it." His voice was low and pleasant to the ear. At that moment, her heart was beating wildly. The scene that day was just like this moment. Who would have thought that a few years later they would sit together and have a barbecue again? Even if it only occupied the most insignificant corner of his memory, it still made Tao Yuan feel a trace of sweetness in her heart. She felt that her love was not in vain. Lu Li was also in a good mood, and the corners of his mouth were always curled up. The atmosphere between the two of them was unusually harmonious. In the past, it was always the men who hunted and the women who guarded the house. Starting a fire has always been a man's job. It's not normal for me to know how to do it. You know how to be an assistant, right? Lu Li rolled up his sleeves. Give me the ingredients. Sori, oysters, scallops, potatoes, and enoki mushrooms. Tao Yuan handed them over one by one, and Lu Li neatly placed them on the grill until the food was golden yellow. He nimbly sprinkled the sauce and seasonings on it. The food gave off a tempting aroma, and some of the colleagues who gathered around the other grills gathered around. A man who knew how to cook was so attractive. President, can I have a drumstick? A female colleague mustered up the courage to ask. Lu Li gave her a look and Tao Yuan took a plate and passed it to her. I want oysters. I want sorry. The first wave of food was quickly snatched up, and everyone was full of praise for Lu Li's cooking. The atmosphere was getting more and more harmonious. Tao Yuan also had a smile on her face. Looking at Lu Li who was busy, she suddenly felt like they were a couple who were entertaining guests. Husband and wife, they were husband and wife to begin with. The atmosphere of the dinner party was more joyous than before, so on the way back, both of them were in a good mood. In the car Lu Li even played music. When they returned home it was already past 8 o'clock and both of them smelled of smoke. For Lu Li, who had a slight obsession with cleanliness, this was something intolerable, but he was in a good mood so he decided not to care about it. Collective carbon monoxide absorption isn't completely a masochistic thing. You see, we can still coexist peacefully. Tao Yuan was in a good mood so she teased him. You didn't just want to prove this point by being a cook and laborer for a day, did you? He smiled. As long as you are not thorny, I am not that difficult to get along with. Tao Yuan did not even consider getting along with him for a long time. Once or twice is not a problem, but after a long time you will feel bored. We are people from two different worlds. That's because you have instilled this concept into yourself, and you have excluded me. Lu Li tried his best to convince her on this point, and subconsciously grabbed her arm. When she turned around she met his focused gaze. It was different from usual and it seemed to be more serious. Give me a chance and I will prove it to you. The light shone on both of them, and his pupils shone like obsidian, firmly attracting her. An unfamiliar feeling drilled out from the tip of Tao Yuan's heart, and her heart beat faster, thumping wildly. It was as if all her strength had been completely melted by him in a second. She clearly wanted to push him away and wanted to say, "Stop joking," nonchalantly, but her body could not move. She just stared at him until his gaze deepened and finally he bent down and kissed her. Tao Yuan was frozen and she forgot to dodge. His lips were about to land on hers, and Lu Li felt his throat rising. The throbbing feeling drilled into his body, and his breathing became chaotic. At this moment, a fist came from behind and he turned his head to avoid it, throwing that person to the ground. Peng, a figure fell to the ground. Yicheng? Tao Yuan was frightened by his appearance. He had lost a lot of weight and his beard was unshaven and his hair was messy. If not for those familiar eyes she would not have recognized him. Fang Yicheng fell to the ground, panting heavily and could not get up for a long time. Tao Yuan quickly squatted down to help him. How did you become like this? Fang Yicheng's head was dizzy, and his ears were ringing, and he was in a trance listening to her voice. The scene of Lu Li lowering his head to kiss Tao Yuan kept replaying in his mind, and his anger rose, but he did not have the strength to be angry. Tao Yuan struggled to help him up. How are you? Are you okay? Can you hear me? This won't do. Come home with me first. Lu Li was unhappy when he heard that. I won't allow it. That's my house, not yours. Why can't you allow it? Tao Yuan supported Fang Yicheng with one hand and struggled to move forward. Slow down, be careful. Seeing the two enter the elevator, Lu Li could not bear to be angry and followed them in. His face was very ugly and murderous. When they got home, Tao Yuan put Fang Yicheng on the sofa first. The lights in the living room were brighter than outside and he looked even worse. His face was as white as a ghost and his eyes were sunken. God, how did you get yourself into this state? Have you been kidnapped? I'm hungry, he groaned weakly. Wait, I'll cook noodles for you. Tao Yuan ignored Lu Li's ugly face and went into the kitchen to cook noodles. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Fang Yicheng, the uninvited guest, as if he had robbed his house, and he was full of the smell of gunpowder. Are you acting in Les Miserables? He said sarcastically in a calm voice. Fang Yicheng lowered his head. Now get out of here. The one who should leave is you. This is my house and she is my wife. Why should I leave? Pretending to be pitiful to gain sympathy is really disgraceful. He said with extreme disdain. It's none of your business. You're courting death. Lu Li strode over, grabbed Fang Yicheng's collar, and lifted him up from the sofa. Stop. Tao Yuan rushed out of the kitchen to stop him. He's already in this state and you're still bullying him. He's pretending to be pitiful, can't you tell? Only you would have such a senseless thought. He must have suffered a lot. Tao Yuan felt sorry for him. She rescued Fang Yicheng from Lu Li's clutches, and carefully helped him to sit on the chair. Eat something first. Fang Yicheng took the bowl of noodles and wolfed it down. Slow down, sigh. Be careful not to choke. Cough, 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 water, water. Lu Li pushed the chili oil over. Fang Yicheng didn't even look at it and directly drank a mouthful. He spat it out and anxiously jumped up from the chair, cursing. Bastard, you tricked me, cough cough, cough cough. Lu Li. Tao Yuan was speechless and quickly passed the water to Fang Yicheng. He drank a lot of water and ate a big bowl of noodles before his condition improved. What exactly happened? Why are you in such a sorry state? Fang Yicheng looked at Lu Li and said reluctantly. My sister didn't let me see you and I didn't agree, so she locked me up. Lu Li sneered. You're really a primary school student? An elementary school student should be obedient at home, don't run out and scare people. Fang Yicheng snorted and complained to Tao Yuan. When I was locked up at home and suffering, you were actually with him. Are you guys really living together? Chapter 477. I'm talking to Yuan. Yuan, don't interrupt, it's rude. You're pestering my wife who's rude? Seeing that the two of them were about to quarrel again, Tao Yuan felt a headache coming on. Stop quarreling, Yicheng, your sister doesn't want you to see me for your own good. You shouldn't quarrel with the closest person for me, she'll be sad. You go home first, okay? It wasn't easy for me to escape, I won't go back, I want to be with you. He was already so miserable, looking at his pitiful eyes, Tao Yuan really couldn't bear to drive him away. Then you stay here for the night, we'll talk tomorrow, en? Fang Yicheng nodded obediently, turned his head and raised his chin at Lu Li. Did you hear that? Yuan wants me to stay here for the night, hurry up and leave, don't get in our way. The man's eyes emitted murderous intent. I think you're really tired of living. Fang Yicheng knew that he would definitely be at a disadvantage in a fight with his current physical strength, so he slyly hid behind Tao Yuan. Look, he's hitting me again. Stop it, go take a shower first. Fang Yicheng kissed her on the cheek, then gave 2 middle fingers to Lu Li. What do you mean by this? Are you really going to let him stay here tonight? Lu Li angrily asked, his face surging with murderous intent. What else can I do? He's already so miserable, how can I drive him away? He's just pretending. Ink Rabbit City is so big he can go anywhere, why must he stay at your house? Maybe what he said just now was a lie. He won't lie to me. Tao Yuan replied with certainty. If I let him go home now, it will only aggravate the conflict between him and his family. It's good for both sides to calm down for a night. Then have you considered my feelings? Why should I consider your feelings? Tao Yuan asked back. This is my house, I have the right to keep guests. I'm your husband. How can you be so righteous when you let another man spend the night at your house? Lu Li was so angry that he wanted to strangle her to death. Do you think I'm dead? Or do you want to piss me off? If you can't accept it, you can leave now. Tao Yuan wished that was the case. It was too dangerous to leave 2 bombs at home. You didn't ask him to leave but asked me to leave? This was absurd to the extreme. Lu Li couldn't understand why she would say such a thing. He was in a better mood today, but now he was in a terrible mood because of her. He really wanted to slam the door and leave, never to talk to her again. However, he knew that once he left the room he would definitely regret it. He would constantly speculate about what they had done together, whether or not they had kissed. He would drive himself crazy, so no matter what, he had to stay. Only one of us can stay. Or are you going to leave? Him. Tao Yuan did not hesitate for even a second. Fine, you win. But do you think you can anger me like this? I'm not that gullible. I want to see what you can do in front of me. Tao Yuan had never seen someone who was so good at finding a way out. She had already made it clear that she wanted him to leave, but he could still find an excuse to stay. This man was too thick-skinned. In case a world war broke out tonight, she could only say some harsh words against her conscience. I've already explained my relationship with Yicheng to you very clearly. Although you are my nominal husband, he is my real man. Please be sensible and don't disturb us. Then explain what is a real man. Have you done it? Tao Yuan's face turned red. Of course we have done it. We have done it many times. Ha! Your ability to lie is really terrible. The expression on Lu Li's face clearly showed that he didn't believe a single word. No, he didn't even believe the punctuation marks. Next time when you lie, remember to look into someone else's eyes. I bet that other than that angry kiss, you haven't had any more intimate contact with him. You're not me. What right do you have to say that? To me he is a very important person. My body has long been used to him. Whoa. He grabbed the back of her head and brought her into his embrace. Her lips were blocked by him and they moved intensely. Even the skin of her lips was burned by the sparks. Tao Yuan's eyes widened in shock, and her hands stopped in midair. Then, are you used to being intimate with me? My kiss or his who made you enjoy it more? He pressed his lips against hers, and his nose opened and closed. He panted heavily, and an evil smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Since you're so casual, then you should also like the 2 kings and 1 empress. Tao Yuan's skin was thin. Her face burned with a whoosh burning from the bottom of her skin. She struggled to break free from his wrist and said angrily, "Don't go too far. I will say the words you say to me based on what kind of person you are. Since you want to create an image of cheating, then I have to use the corresponding method to speak to you, right? Do you want me to act like I'm pure and talk to you about poetry and life philosophy? It's more direct, isn't it?" Yuan, my dear, I'm done." Fang Yiqing ran out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. He immediately smelled that the atmosphere was not right. It was very hot and very stiff. Tao Yuan's entire face was tense, but it was also very red. "Luli, you bastard, what did you do to our Yuan again?" He threw the towel and rushed over. Tao Yuan hurriedly stood in between them. Although Fang Yiqing was still very weak, he was much stronger than before. He clenched his fists tightly and looked like he was going to beat him up. Luli looked at him from the corner of his eyes. He was very disdainful. He had an expression that said, "Come on, you're just looking for death." He was extremely arrogant. "Stop arguing, all of you." Tao Yuan felt a headache now, and her mind was about to collapse. "He's the one arguing now. I didn't say anything. If you want to fight, be quick. Let's fight outside. Don't talk so much nonsense. You're a coward. Let's fight. Who's afraid of who? Come out." "Do you think I'm afraid of you? Enough. If you continue like this, all of you can get out." Tao Yuan was very tired. "Fighting at the drop of a hat. Do you think you're gangsters? You think you're very cool, but in fact you're very childish." Luli chuckled. His voice was cold. "Hey, you just realized that he's childish? She clearly said that you're childish, okay? Yuan has already chased you away, but you're still shamelessly staying here. How can you be so thick-skinned?" Luli couldn't be bothered to argue with him. He turned his head to the side, fully demonstrating what "silence is the highest form of contempt" meant. Tao Yuan took this opportunity to quickly return to the room to get clothes and a blanket for Fang Yiqing. "This is what you left at my house last time. I've washed it. Quickly put it on." "I'm not wearing it. It's not comfortable." Fang Yiqing actually wanted to show off his muscles. He went to the gym every few days to train. His chest and abs were all bulging. It wasn't as exaggerated as a fitness trainer, but it was definitely a very fit body. Moreover, the lines were very nice. Not only was it sexy, but it was also very manly. He made a few exaggerated poses, showing off his strong chest muscles and 8-pack abs as he taunted Luli. "See that? That's a man." Luli laughed. "You have the cheek to call yourself a man with your white-cut chicken body? You're a sissy inside and out." A man's skin was whiter than a woman's. Wasn't the term gigolo used to describe people like Fang Yiqing? "I'm a sissy? Don't lie with your eyes wide open. My figure is obviously very good. You're wrapped up so tightly. Your body must be very bad, so you don't dare to show it." "I'm bad? I'm afraid you'll feel inferior." "I don't believe you. If you have the guts, take off your clothes and see." Seeing that Luli was really going to take off his shirt, Tao Yuan hurriedly held his hand. "Are you two done? Isn't it childish for 2 men to compare their bodies?" She really had enough. What was the difference between this and being a nanny for 2 brats? "Then tell him what my body is like." Luli's lips curled up evilly. "You've seen it with your own eyes and touched it with your own hands. When I'm not wearing my shirt, your face is very red, just like now." When he was acting like a hooligan, Tao Yuan couldn't resist. She lowered her head, obviously lacking confidence. "Don't say such strange things again, isn't it? The last time you were pressed on the bed by me." "Luli," Tao Yuan almost screamed. "He doesn't believe that my body is better than his, and you won't let me take it off. You have to tell him yourself. This concerns a man's dignity. Don't tell me the 2 of you have dignity when you fight like this? What a joke." After scolding one, Tao Yuan turned her head to scold the other. "Quickly put on your clothes and go to sleep." "I'll sleep in the living room? Aren't I sleeping with you?" Fang Yiqing protested. "Dream on. Of course my wife will sleep with me." Luli pulled Tao Yuan into his arms, and Fang Yiqing was so anxious that he was hopping mad. "Let go of me right now. You sleep on the sofa, you sleep in the guest room, I'll sleep alone." Fang Yiqing was overjoyed when he heard that. "So you're sleeping in the bedroom all the time?" I said, "How could Yuan sleep with you? You keep saying that you're husband and wife, but will a husband and wife sleep in separate rooms? Yuan doesn't want to see you at all. You're the one who's staying here. You can't argue anymore, right? Lu Li didn't even frown. Instead, his lips curled up into a smile. Not everyone is an impatient primary school student. Mature men like to take things slowly and enjoy the fun of conquering a little. Since I can live here, then it's only a matter of time before I share a room with her. Fang Yicheng rolled his eyes. Don't brag. You'll only make Yuan hate you more if you keep pestering her. On the contrary, she likes me more and more. Back then she loved me so much that she wanted to die. Now I can make her love me again. That's impossible. You're still a scumbag, but our Yuan isn't blind anymore. Don't think that you can fool her with the old tricks. She's no longer the Tao Yuan from before. Is that so? Then I like the current Tao Yuan better. Lu Li reached out his hand and touched her small and delicate chin. He was a bit like a playboy but strangely charming. The temperature of his fingers instantly burned Tao Yuan's chin. She hurriedly escaped from his arms. Her heart was beating fast and she didn't dare to look at his magical eyes. Stop fooling around. Go to sleep. Chapter 478. Really, every time Lu Li was around, she felt as if the air was taken away and she couldn't breathe. Her usual calmness and composure at work was completely broken and her brain couldn't think normally at all. The more she tried to resist this nervousness, the more nervous she got and she was often at a loss of what to do. After a while, she came to her senses and was angry at herself for being so weak that she always panicked in front of him. He was about to become her ex-husband. What was there to be afraid of? She felt terrible. Tao Yuan didn't dare to go out again and went to bed without taking a shower. However, she couldn't sleep and kept paying attention to the movements outside. In the end, she was too tired and closed her eyes. She didn't sleep for long. Bang! As soon as there was a sound outside, Tao Yuan jumped up from the bed like a bird startled by the twang of a bowstring and rushed out of the door. There were two voices in the dark. One man was grabbing another man and they were full of murderous intent. She quickly turned on the light. Lu Li was pinching Fang Yicheng's clothes and his other fist was already raised to hit him. What are you doing again? Yuan, he hit me. Fang Yicheng complained with tears in his eyes, like a little animal being bullied, pitiful and pitiful. Who let you into her room? Lu Li's face was very ugly and his forehead was blue. I just wanted to pour a glass of water. Don't talk nonsense. I'm talking nonsense? I left a gap in the door and kept an eye on it. You just wanted to sneak into her room. Tao Yuan imagined Lu Li squatting behind the door and waiting for Fang Yicheng. She was angry and amused at the same time. Was this something a domineering CEO would do? The degree of childishness he showed today had refreshed her view of the world. We are together, it's normal for me to enter her room. Fang Yicheng couldn't deny it, so he said it confidently. He didn't intend to do anything, he just wanted to take a look at Tao Yuan, who knew that Lu Li was so sinister and actually hid behind the door to block him. To be honest, he was quite bored. She's my wife. She's mine. Tao Yuan was about to go crazy. Wave after wave, it didn't stop for the whole night. Were they trying to torture her to death? I'm begging you. Can't you all calm down? I still have to work tomorrow, so I don't have the energy to deal with you guys. You guys might as well fight. Hearing this, Lu Li let go and threw Fang Yicheng back onto the sofa. With a stern face, he warned him and went back to his room. The door was still ajar. Fang Yicheng complained pitifully. Look at that barbarian, he wants to hit me again. He's a violent maniac. That's enough from you. Why aren't you sleeping in the middle of the night? Why are you in my room? Even if he beats you up, you deserve it. I miss you so much. I want to see you. Fang Yicheng grabbed her little finger. He was so aggrieved that his eyes were wet. It reminded Tao Yuan of a little white dog she had in primary school. Every time she went to school, the little dog would look at her with this kind of expression. She knew that he was acting, but she still felt sorry for him. She patted his head and said in a gentler tone, "All right, go to bed early. It's been a long day and I'm tired." Fang Yicheng pouted. "I want a good night kiss." "Stop it. Moi. If you keep doing this, I'm really going to kick you out. Be good, okay?" Fang Yicheng pursed his lips. "All right, go to bed early." In the latter half of the night, Tao Yuan was still very nervous. Whenever there was any movement outside, she would wake up immediately. Fortunately, the two of them did not continue to quarrel. She fell asleep at 4 in the morning. When she woke up, it was already past 8. Tao Yuan was dizzy and unable to work, so she simply took the morning off. When she came out of the room, Fang Yicheng was still sleeping. The man, who was more than 1.8 meters tall, was nestled on the small sofa. His legs could not even straighten, so he could only curl up his body. The sleeping posture of a baby was very, very cute. The quilt was wrapped tightly, revealing a small face like an angel. Under the small floral quilt, only Fang Yicheng's small face was exposed. The sun shone on his fair skin. The outline was very beautiful. His facial features were exquisite and delicate. His lips were pink and full like a young girl's, making people want to take a bite. What a pure and innocent face. It was exactly the appearance of an angel in Tao Yuan's imagination. Even though he was a little arrogant and domineering in front of Lu Li, he was a very gentle man in his bones. Tao Yuan's heart softened in an instant. She could not do anything about such a cute man. He could always arouse her maternal instincts. She wanted to love him and tolerate him. She looked at Lu Li's room again. It was empty. Tao Yuan was a little surprised. Fang Yicheng was still around. Lu Li actually left? Didn't he want to turn the world upside down? However, she finally heaved a sigh of relief. After taking a shower, Fang Yicheng had just woken up. He sat on the sofa and rubbed his eyes. His upper body was bare, and his snow-white skin glowed under the sunlight, as though it was transparent. If other women saw such a seductive body, they would definitely have a nosebleed. However, Tao Yuan was already immune to it, so she did not feel anything special. She walked over and threw the shirt to him. "Hurry and get up. Where's that B*** starred?" Fang Yicheng's first sentence was to ask. "I don't know. He went out." "Oh? He must be afraid that I would beat him up, so he ran away. He even said that I'm a coward. He's the coward himself." Fang Yicheng got out of bed happily. Without putting on his clothes, he walked over in a few steps and hugged Tao Yuan from behind, intimately rubbing her ears. "That's great. Now it's just the two of us." "Hey, don't be like this." Tao Yuan struggled out of his arms. "We are not in that kind of relationship." "Then what's your relationship with Lu Li? You actually let him stay in your house. Do you really want to reconcile with him?" "Of course not." Tao Yuan denied it without thinking. "I had no choice. I knew it. That B** starred must have forced you. How can there be such a shameless man?" Fang Yicheng said as he clenched his fists. "Hurry up and divorce him. It's not as simple as you think. This marriage is not something that I can divorce just because I want to. Both of us have to sign it." Tao Yuan walked into the kitchen, took out bread and milk from the fridge and heated the milk. Fang Yicheng followed her in. "I've asked. You can divorce after 2 years of separation. That's just filing a lawsuit. As long as Lu Li doesn't agree, you can't divorce." She did not sleep well last night. Tao Yuan still had a bad headache. She pinched her eyebrows. "The situation is already very complicated. Can you stop forcing me?" "I don't want to force you. I'm just afraid that you will be bullied." "What? Another headache? What do you think?" She rolled her eyes at him. "Last night you guys were fighting for the whole night. I couldn't sleep at all. Isn't it because of that guy? Alright, I'll stop talking. I'll help you massage." Fang Yicheng turned her body around. His fingers landed on her temples and gently rubbed. "How is it? Is the strength appropriate? Do you feel better?" "Yes. As long as you don't make me angry, I won't have a headache." "This is not what I want. It's all that B** starred's fault. He made my dear Yuan have a headache. I must find a way to teach him a lesson. Don't bother. You can't beat him." Tao Yuan pushed his hand away and turned around. She looked into his eyes and exhorted him seriously. "If you really care about me, don't get involved in this matter. Promise me." "But you're a woman. How can you be his opponent? You will be bullied by him." "I know what I'm doing. Just let me worry less about it. I don't want to deal with him. I don't want to spend my mind on you. After breakfast you go home. Don't let your sister worry. It's not easy to escape. I won't go back." Yicheng. Ding dong, that B** starred must be back. I'll help you drive him away." Fang Yicheng hurriedly ran to open the door. But the person standing outside the door was not Lu Li. Instead it was Fang Wen. "Sister?" Looking at his naked body, Fang Wen was so angry that she grabbed his hand and dragged him out. "Come home with me." "I won't." Fang Yicheng was strong enough to push her hand away in an instant. "If I go back, you'll lock me up again. I don't want to go to jail." "Do you think I want to lock you up? Isn't this for your own good?" "Don't always say that. You think you're doing this for my own good. But you don't know what I want." Fang Yicheng looked impatient. You can find someone to kidnap me. Anyway, I won't go with you. How long do you want to make trouble? I'm not making trouble. I'm just fighting for my own happiness. When Tao Yuan came out with breakfast, she immediately met two angry eyes. Miss Fong? The person Fong Wen hated the most right now was Tao Yuan. She didn't care about her manners and directly pushed Fang Yicheng away, walked in and said without any politeness. I've already said it clearly. I told you to stay away from my brother. Why are you still pestering him? I thought you're a woman who understands propriety, justice, and honor. But I didn't expect you to be so thick-skinned. Do you remember that you're a married woman? You misunderstood. Yicheng and I are not like what you think. Last night he spent the night here. What do you want me to think? I'm an adult. Do you want to say that nothing happened between you, a man and a woman, in the same room? I'm not a 3-year-old child. This kind of lousy excuse won't work on me. The more aggressive Fang Wen is, the calmer Tao Yuan is. If she didn't do it, then she didn't do it. She doesn't feel guilty. The relationship between the two of them is already stiff because of her. She can't worsen the contradiction. I can understand what you're thinking. But please listen to my explanation. Last night Yicheng slept on the sofa. His quilt is still there. We didn't sleep together. It's easy to create this illusion. What can a quilt prove? You clearly know that Yicheng had a conflict with his family because of you. You still let him spend the night here. Obviously, you want to worsen our relationship. Do you think that by doing this you can take him away? He has his own thoughts. His legs are also his own. All the decisions are made by him. No one can take him away. No one can force him. He has been deceived by you. He's wholeheartedly on your side. Of course you'll say that. Fang Wen tried hard to restrain her temper. She didn't want to say anything too ugly. No matter what, she is a well-educated woman. She's not the kind of shrew who will curse when she's angry. However, Fang Yicheng is her weakness. So, her attitude is still very fierce. Chapter 479. I'm the same as you, I want Yicheng to be good. Tao Yuan's words are very measured, her attitude is also very cultured, but the more she is like this, the more Fang Wen's prejudice against her becomes. Hypocritical, duplicitous women are the most difficult to deal with. Is she using this disguise to confuse Yicheng? She will never allow this to happen. But what you did is completely contrary to what you said. Any man who is entangled with a married woman will be spurned by the secular world, let alone Yicheng. He still has a bright future, do you want to destroy him? Sister, enough. It's my one-sided love for him, it has nothing to do with Yuan Yuan. Fang Yicheng put Tao Yuan behind him. I won't allow you to say these excessive words to her. Also, I will not go back with you, you can forget about it. When Fang Wen was speechless with anger, Tao Yuan suddenly opened her mouth. You should go home with your sister. Yuan Yuan. Didn't I say it? I will not give in. Don't pay attention to what my sister said, she can't control me no matter what, I want to be with you. You come with me to the room, I have something to say to you. After getting Fang Wen's consent, Tao Yuan took Fang Yicheng into the room. What do you want to say? I will not go back no matter what. Fang Yicheng stubbornly emphasized. He thought that Tao Yuan will earnestly say a lot of words to persuade him, but she asked. Do you really like me? Of course, do you still need to ask? Don't tell me that my 2 years of company is not enough to prove my determination? So, are you going to love me in this way? What do you mean? You running away from home will only make me bear more hatred from your family. I will not want a love without the blessing of my family. So, even if I want to be with you, it's impossible. Moreover, your current ability is not enough to compete with Lu Li. To put it bluntly, you don't even have the ability to love me. Fang Yicheng wanted to refute, but the truth was right in front of him. He couldn't deny it. He was an arrogant man and always thought that he was the best. It was just that he liked to play around and didn't have a stable mind. Once he got serious, no one could compare to him. However, Lu Li's appearance gave him a sense of crisis. No matter how much they disdained him in terms of character, in terms of ability and achievements, that man had indeed widened the gap between them. He would need at least 5 years to catch up to Lu Li. However, the more successful a person was, the faster they would improve. It was impossible for Lu Li to stay in the same place and wait for him. Then he would never be able to catch up to him. Fang Yicheng couldn't bear the feeling of being suppressed, especially when the person above him was Lu Li, his rival in love. Most of the time in front of Tao Yuan, he felt that he couldn't lift his head. If you really love me, go and fight for this love. Go and make yourself a better man. It's useless to turn against your family and fight with Lu Li. To put it bluntly, without the support of your family, You won't be able to beat him. But I want to be with you now. I want to protect you at any time. Have you thought about the future? Do you really want me to go back and take over the Fang group? Yes. This is not only for our future but also for your future. Yicheng, I hope you can become a very good man. I also believe that you can do it. Fang Yicheng thought for a long time and finally nodded. Okay, I promise you I will work hard. Yuanyuan, wait for me. I swear I will get you back. When Tao Yuan just tidied up the quilt in the living room, Lu Li came back. He was wearing sportswear and headphones. There was a thin layer of sweat on his forehead. He looked refreshed and his complexion was very good. Why did you come back? I just went out for a run. Who said I left? Lu Li went into the kitchen and took a bottle of mineral water. He looked relaxed as if nothing happened. Tao Yuan originally wanted to remind him that he shouldn't drink too much water after running, but then she thought that it would be better if he drank too much and got a stomachache, so she swallowed her words and let him gulp down a few mouthfuls. After drinking the water, he wiped his mouth with his fingers. His posture was very sexy as he ridiculed. A primary school student was taken home? Did you find Fang Wen? He acquiesced. Do you want to keep him here? He is my guest. It's not your turn to drive him away, especially with this kind of means. You deliberately want to intensify the conflict between them. He asked for it. He barked in front of me. He's courting death. By the way, aren't you Tao Yuan very charming? Why did they choose such a lousy primary school student? Lu Li's tone, every word, and even every punctuation, revealed a strong contempt. Perhaps his ability is not as good as yours, but he's not bad at all. He's kind and sincere. He doesn't have a bad mind like you. So what? Incompetent is a waste. Tao Yuan shook her head with a smile. Compared to incompetent, not having a heart is more terrible. No matter what, at least he sincerely wants me to be happy. But you, no matter how outstanding your ability is, you only think about how to make my life more miserable. Tell me, who would I choose? That's not an excuse for his incompetence. Lu Li snorted. A man, if he doesn't even have the right to choose his own woman and is bound by his family, then what's the difference between him and a waste? Do you want to give your life's happiness to an incompetent waste? He's not a waste. Even if he is, a waste is still better than a devil. I can bet more than 10 years of my youth on a devil. So why can't I choose him? I don't care what you think of him. Anyway, in my heart he's 10 million times better than you. Lu Li knew that he should listen to these words as a joke. A person with a strong heart in the face of such humiliation should only feel that it's funny. It's not worth getting angry at. But he still felt unhappy. Even if it wasn't the truth, he couldn't accept that his position in Tao Yuan's heart was inferior to that of Fang Yicheng. His expression was still relaxed, but his eyes were faintly revealing a bit of gloominess. You'd better take these words back. I say what I think in my heart. Why should I take it back? Even if I don't say it, my heart is full of these thoughts. It's impossible to change it. A person with a bad character, no matter how great his achievements, will still be looked down upon. But, for a period of time you probably won't see him. He will go back to take over the Fang Corporation. You can come at me for the grudge between you and me. If you dare to play dirty tricks on him, I won't let you go. Her threat must be very ridiculous to him, right? It's probably like a teddy bear baring its fangs and brandishing its claws in front of a Tibetan mastiff. But she must show her attitude and determination. What? Are you afraid that I will destroy his small broken company? Oh, it seems that you are still very clear about his ability. He is a spoiled brat, and he can only act like a tyrant in his small territory. If I want to kill him, it's easier than killing an ant, but I don't want to dirty my hands. I want to see, even if he has the backing of the Fang Corporation, how can he fight against me? Even if I don't go to him, he will come to me by himself. In the end, there is only a dead end. The smile on Lu Li's face was like the ripples on the surface of a lake. It looked gentle and harmless, but it made people feel a chill in their bones. I can promise you, I will leave his body intact. In the afternoon, when Tao Yuan went to work, she received a call from Director Li, who said that there was a dinner party in the evening and invited her. This Director Li, whom Tao Yuan had dealt with several times when she was in the business department, was a very greedy and lecherous person, and was extremely difficult to deal with. The previous few times she had to struggle to get rid of him, and she really did not want to jump into the fire pit again. But, as a business person, it was inevitable to deal with officials. The project of the new hotel area all needed to be approved by Director Li, so Tao Yuan really had no way to refuse, so she had to go. The dinner party was set in a big hotel, and the private room was full of businessmen and senior officials. Each of them had their arms around a young beauty, which was obviously not their first wife. The room was full of the strong smell of cigarettes and alcohol. Tao Yuan almost frowned as soon as she walked in. In the past, she often attended such occasions, but she was still very not used to it. She resisted from the bottom of her heart, and felt uncomfortable all over. Manager Tao, hurry, come and sit. Director Li smiled and called her over. Let me introduce everyone, this is the business manager of the Wilton Hotel, Tao Yuan. Manager Tao, a very capable woman. The men all looked at each other. Most of their female companions were nightclub girls or college students, who knew how to please men and were easy to spend money on. This Director Li's taste was quite special. He actually liked strong women. However, strong women had the charm of strong women, and they were also very beautiful, so they might be more attractive in bed. So one by one they followed suit and took turns toasting Tao Yuan. She could not refuse, so she drank more than a dozen glasses at once and felt a little dizzy. Director Li leaned over and gently held her waist, asking with concern. Manager Tao, are you okay? The hand on her back kept touching and Tao Yuan had goosebumps. She felt very disgusted and subconsciously moved away. I'm fine. But that hand seemed to be stuck to her back and she could not get rid of it. Director Li's fat body kept pressing against her, half pressing against her. In the eyes of others, it was very intimate, but she was completely forced. Director Li, I'm not in a good state today, so I'd better go back first. Otherwise, when the alcohol gets to my head, I'll say something that I shouldn't say and offend all the big shots here. Don't worry, I've seen your alcohol tolerance. How can such a small amount of wine make you drunk? Director Li could not wait for her to get drunk so that he could take advantage of her. This woman was very smart. When the two of them were alone, no matter how much he urged her to drink, she would not drink more than 3 glasses, so he deliberately set up this trap. She would not refuse a toast from each of them, right? He had long been tired of female students, prostitutes and public relations, and he liked a challenge like Tao Yuan. A strong woman and a wife, TSK, just thinking about it made him excited. Tonight he must get her into bed. Chapter 480. I still have something to do, let's talk about it later. We can talk about the East District project. He had already started to grope her, and Tao Yuan felt like she had swallowed a fly. It was extremely disgusting. The people around her were also looking at her with bad intentions, especially the women's eyes, which were full of contempt. They were probably thinking, what manager? Isn't he just an escort? As I said, I'm no longer in the business department. I'm now in the housekeeping department. If you have any problems, you can contact our manager Chin. I don't know any manager Chin. I only know that you have always been in charge of me, so you have to be responsible for me, Manager Tao. You know, I approved the project so readily because of you. But you, once you signed the contract, you ignored me. Don't burn the bridge after crossing the river, don't you think? I will be sad. Director Li deliberately spoke in a very sad tone, and there was a hint of coquettishness in it. Tao Yuan almost vomited when she heard it. Up close, Director Li's fat face was uneven and full of pimples, just like the surface of the moon. It was so ugly that it made people want to vomit. God, why did she have to deal with such a disgusting person who looked like a toad? The smell of cigarettes and alcohol in the private room was very heavy, and it was very stuffy, making Tao Yuan's head even more dizzy. Her body was also hot and weak, and her strength was being drained. There was a voice in her ear reminding her that she had to escape from this place, or something bad would happen. I'm really not in a good state today. Shall I drink with Director Li another day? You say that every time, and when I really look for you, you find an excuse to avoid me. Director Li saw a layer of pink seeping out of her face, which was becoming more and more charming, and he was even more eager to pounce on her immediately. The hand holding her shoulder kept increasing its strength, and he was so excited that he wanted to rub her into his arms. His nostrils flared and his teeth were clenched in anger. Manager Tao, you really are a woman that I love and hate. Do you know? I've been thinking about you these days. Did you drug me or something? Otherwise, why would I like you so much? He was getting more and more outrageous. Tao Yuan felt extremely uncomfortable. The smell of cigarettes, alcohol, and his stench almost suffocated her to death. Director Li, you must be joking. We are only partners. How can I drug you? If it weren't for you, would I have approved the project so quickly? I'm doing all this to make you happy, little vixen. I can have any kind of woman I want. Do you dislike me so much? Why are you always avoiding me? If these words came out of Lu Li's mouth, it might be very tempting, but if it was said by a toad, it would only make Tao Yuan feel nauseous. If it weren't for the fact that she still needed his help with the project, she would have slapped him. However, she would not tolerate it blindly. She struggled even harder and her expression became very ugly. It's not good if Madame knows about this. Bah, that old woman dares to meddle in my affairs? She only knows how to play cards all day long. What can she do about how I play with women? Ignore her. In desperation, Tao Yuan could only use Lu Li as a shield. My husband is still waiting for me to come home. If he knew you were like this, he wouldn't be happy. Tao Yuan thought that after mentioning Lu Li, Director Li would definitely be afraid, but she didn't expect him to laugh instead. Your husband? Are you talking about President Liu? I just saw him when I entered the hotel. He was with a female celebrity called Xiao Jiao. They should be busy right now. They don't have time to care about you. Manager Tao, you are so naive. Ah. He was with another woman. Normally Tao Yuan wouldn't feel anything. But when she was in danger, her heart felt like it was stabbed by a knife. It was stuffy and painful. Then she felt that she was ridiculous. Was she still expecting him to protect her? For the past few years she had faced these things alone. She had to think of a solution herself. President Liu is more handsome and capable than me, but he doesn't like you. What can I do? No matter how good a man is, if he doesn't care about you, then you are useless. Wild flowers are always more fragrant than home flowers. Men like them outside, don't you think? Boss Liu, you have so many women outside and you're so lucky with women. You're so busy that you don't even have time to deal with them. But don't be sad. You are young and beautiful. What are you afraid of? He doesn't like you, but I like you. Why should you be a widow for him? It must have been hard these past few years, right? I'll take care of you tonight, okay? You, go away. Tao Yuan stood up with the help of the table. She was dizzy and knocked over a few cups. Everyone around could see that she was forced, but no one came out to help her. They were all waiting to see a good show. She's drunk. I'll send her back first. We'll meet another day. Director Li also stood up. He forcefully grabbed Tao Yuan's shoulders and took her out of the room. Hotel Presidential Suite. In the luxurious room, Lu Li stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, overlooking the entire bustling city. He held a cigarette in his hand and burned it quietly. He seemed to have forgotten about it. When the cigarette burned out and burned his hand, he realized that he had put it out in the ashtray. His finger was burned red, but he didn't feel any pain. Honey, do you want to take a shower together? An enchanting female body hugged him from behind. Her breasts were pressed against his back, swaying gently. It was a scene that was full of meaning. Honey, what are you thinking about? She kissed the back of his neck and licked it with the tip of her tongue. Lu Li seemed to exist in another world and couldn't feel her presence. Even though it was such a provocation that made a man's blood boil, he didn't feel anything at all. Honey? The woman was displeased and circled her arms around his neck. The floor-to-ceiling window outlined the reflection of her beautiful back. Her fair skin and perfect female body wrapped around him like a water snake. Lu Li suddenly looked at the beauty in his arms, but he didn't feel anything at all. In fact, he didn't even know why he was here. Ever since Zhang Mingmei, he hadn't had any other women. All his energy was spent on Tao Yuan, and he had no time to think about other women. However, this was very abnormal. Even if she took up most of his energy, he still had the most basic needs. He had always been a vigorous man. However, every time he wanted to find other women to vent, he would feel bored. It was as if he was only interested in Tao Yuan and only wanted to push her down. He actually had feelings for the woman he hated the most, which made Lu Li feel disgusted. At the dinner tonight, the developer gave him this model called Xiao Jiao, who was also a female star, but he was still not interested. However, in order to prove that his heart was not controlled by Tao Yuan, he brought her to the hotel. But now he was still not interested. On the contrary, he was a little annoyed and a little disgusted with her. Honey, let's take a shower together, okay? Xiao Jiao hooked his tie and slowly twirled it. Her fingertips poked his chest from time to time, teasing him. We can do a lot of other things besides a couple's bath. Don't you want to try? Lu Li looked down at her. Her face was as charming as a vixen's, and her pair of phoenix eyes were very enchanting. Such a stunning beauty, the souls of other men would be hooked by her, wouldn't they? But why was his first reaction that the makeup was too thick, which made him feel a little disgusted? He still liked Tao Yuan after a bath. She looked clean, her facial features were delicate, her skin was white, and her eyes were like an innocent and harmless fawn. Every time he saw her neck exposed under the cartoon pajamas, he couldn't help but think of the beautiful body hidden under it. But now, with a beauty in his arms, he could see every part of her body clearly, so he lost interest. What the hell, was he incompetent? Impossible. When he was in the same room with Tao Yuan, his mind was roaring with the impulse to push her down and tear her apart, which proved that he was a strong man. Don't you want me? Xiao Jiao kissed his Adam's apple and seduced him with her eyes. Lu Li's heart was as still as water, and he didn't have any reaction at all. But if he sent her away, didn't that mean he admitted that he only wanted Tao Yuan? His heart was swayed by her? No, he would never admit it. His dark eyes darkened, and Lu Li pinched her chin. His eyes suddenly became a little more lingering. Who said I don't want you? You don't know how much I want to swallow you. The passionate whisper of a lover almost made Xiao Jiao fall into his arms. She didn't dare to think about this high and mighty man, but she couldn't help but sink into his charm. Even if it was only for one night, she was willing to die for him. Go take a bath first, I'll wait for you. He whispered intimately in her ear. Aren't you going to shower with me? Xiao Jiao pouted. Don't you feel more excited in the bathroom? You're a drug, I'm already excited just looking at you, it's the same everywhere. Be good. He pressed her into his strong chest. Xiao Jiao's heart melted because of him. Even if he told her to die, she would not hesitate to nod. Then wait for me. She tiptoed, held his face and kissed him, but Lu Li tilted his head to avoid it. Her bright red lips landed on his cheek, leaving a deep lipstick mark. She looked forward to it and ran into the bathroom excitedly. However, the smile on Lu Li's face had faded. He was just trying to brush her off. Now his face was cold, and he even felt a little disdain for his own acting. Did he need to torture himself to prove that Tao Yuan was not attractive to him? How could she be that important? Recently he had been too out of control, and even he couldn't understand it. He hated the feeling of being out of control. He was Lu Li, how could he be controlled by a woman? Even when he loved Tao Yanran the most, he didn't have this kind of trouble. It must be because their relationship had changed, and he was too eager to make that woman submit to him, so he tortured her. It must be that. Lu Li comforted himself in his heart, but he didn't feel much better. Chapter 481. Baby, I'm done. Xiao Jiao wrapped herself around him, trying her best to show off her skills. She wrapped one arm around Lu Li's neck and kissed his Adam's apple. Her other hand slowly unbuttoned his shirt and moved it down, revealing his bronze chest. She couldn't help but exclaim in her heart. It turned out that under the suit hid a beast-like body. Every inch of his skin was taut and more muscular than a male model's body. This man was the best. Facing the increasingly wild Xiao Jiao, Lu Li's eyes became colder and colder. He resisted such intimacy from the bottom of his heart. He was more like enduring it. If he pushed Xiao Jiao away, then he would continue to have no interest in other women in the future. He would never allow such a thing to happen. Tonight he must have her. Ring, 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 his phone rang. Lu Li glanced at the number. It was actually Tao Yuan. This was the first time she called him. He frowned, hesitated for a few seconds, and then reached out his hand. Don't, baby. Xiao Jiao was afraid that he would be called away, so she grabbed his hand. I don't want to be disturbed. Xiao Jiao held his head so that he could only look at her. Don't you want me? At this moment he couldn't answer Tao Yuan's call. Otherwise, wouldn't it prove that she was very important? Lu Li emphasized this in his heart, but his body made a completely different reaction. He reached out and took the phone. Baby? Xiao Jiao pouted her lips and stomped her feet. She looked coquettish, but in her heart she had already cursed the other party's 18 generations of ancestors. Hello? His firm lips twitched. He was suddenly curious about what she would say to him. However, the sound coming from the phone was very noisy. Director Li. Let me go. Here, be good, listen to me. Manager Tao, I've liked you for a long time. I've been waiting for this day. Tonight, I'm your husband, I'll love you. Let me go. What are you holding in your hand? Phone. He won't care about you. Just give up. Beep, beep, beep. The phone was cut off. Lu Li's expression was one of terror before the storm. Even Xiao Jiao was frightened by the murderous intent emanating from his body. Baby, baby? She asked weakly. What happened? Lu Li pursed his lips and pushed her away without a word. He picked up his suit and rushed out. He walked faster and faster, ignoring the woman behind him who tried to persuade him to stay. Rushing out of the room, she called Zhou Xingyang on the phone, her voice uncontrollably nervous. Find out where Tao Yuan is now, immediately. When Tao Yuan was drinking, she didn't expect the red wine to have such a strong aftereffect. Now she was dizzy. Her head felt like it was being torn by countless hands. It was so painful that it was about to split open at any time. Her consciousness was also being numbed by the alcohol. However, she could sense the danger, so she continued to struggle. Director Lee hugged her from behind and dragged her forward. There were many waiters around. She begged them to help her, but no one dared to stop her. In a moment of desperation, she could only secretly take out her phone and call Lu Li. He was with another woman now. Would he answer her phone? Would he care about her life or death? However, he was the first person she thought of in such an emergency. Save me. Save me. The call went through, but she couldn't speak directly. Director Lee. Let me go. Let me go? It wasn't easy for me to catch you. How can I let you go? Director Lee couldn't hold it in any longer. He was extremely anxious. Here, be good, be obedient. I've liked you for a long time. I've been waiting for this day. Tonight, I'll be your husband. I'll love you. She was usually an icy beauty, but after drinking she must be very open in bed, right? It was said that women were different in bed and outside. He was already very excited. Let go. What are you holding in your hand? Phone. He won't care about you. Just give up. Director Lee grabbed the phone, hung up, and dragged her to the elevator. He had already booked a room upstairs. Your husband is also in this hotel. He's doing it with another woman, and you're doing it with me. Are you very excited? Tonight I'll make you feel good. I'm more powerful than your husband. The elevator continued to descend. Ding! They reached the first floor. Director Lee was very excited. Just as he was about to bring Tao Yuan in, a cold figure rushed out of the elevator. Their eyes met. Lu Li saw Director Lee holding Tao Yuan, and his anxious expression completely froze the moment he saw him. He was so scared that his face turned pale. Boss Lu. Lu Li didn't say anything. He took a few steps forward and took Tao Yuan back from his arms. She collapsed weakly in his arms. Her eyes were glistening with tears, and she looked very aggrieved, as if she had waited for him for a long time. With one hand he gripped his suit tightly. His heart was torn apart in an instant. He gently touched her face to let her know that he was still there, to make her feel at ease. When he looked at Director Lee, his gaze was as sharp as a knife, enough to cut him into 1,000 pieces. Boss Lu. Director Lee's scalp was numb. He wasn't upset that his plan was ruined, but he was worried that he would lose his life. Didn't the rumors say that Lu Li didn't care about this wife? But why was it so scary now, as if he was going to kill him? He was so scared that cold sweat oozed out of his forehead. Your wife is drunk, I want to send her upstairs to rest, it's really just like that. I don't have any improper thoughts about her, believe me. If it weren't for protecting Tao Yuan, Director Lee would have been a corpse by now. However, Lu Li had 10,000 ways to make him suffer worse than being beaten. Director Lee apologized profusely. Boss Lu, I'll give you one night to disappear from Motu City forever. Otherwise, at this time tomorrow night, your family will find your body in the Huangpu River. Lu Li coldly forced out this warning, picked up Tao Yuan and strode away. Director Lee directly knelt on the ground and cried. He had worked hard for so many years, but it was ruined in the hands of a woman. Pa! The lights in the living room were turned on. Lu Li carried Tao Yuan all the way and gently placed her on the sofa. She had already fainted, and her face was redder than fire. She seemed to be suffering from the fever, and her mouth was constantly moaning. Just as Lu Li was about to get her a towel, she grabbed his sleeve. Her 5 white fingers were tightly clenched, like an insecure child, afraid that her parents would leave. Her eyes were half opened, filled with tears, looking at him pitifully and begging. Don't go, I'll be back soon. No, I'm scared. She looked drunk, but the fear in her eyes was very real, as if she was using all the strength in her life to make him stay. Don't go. Ali. This seemed to be the first time she called him that after being separated for 3 years. Ali. This name, coming from her mouth, was like a gentle whisper, especially intimate. Ali, stay tonight, okay? Ali, what do you want to eat? Ali, please don't do this to me, I'm very sad. Ali. She always called him so intimately, full of strong attachment, which used to make him extremely disgusted. But at this moment, it tugged at his heartstrings. His heart uncontrollably moved. It turned out that when his name came from her mouth, it was so touching, so gentle. Perhaps Lu Li himself did not notice that his face was much gentler, and his tone also carried a bit of love. Okay, I won't go. She seemed to be relieved and obediently closed her eyes. However, not long after, her stomach turned upside down. She pushed him away, stumbled into the bathroom, leaned against the toilet lid and began to vomit. She did not eat anything, so what she vomited was acid, which was even more uncomfortable, so disgusting that she wanted to empty her chest to squeeze out the feeling of vomiting. The whole bathroom was filled with a stench. She lay there, violently twitching as if she was going to vomit out all her internal organs. Luli was actually very distressed, but he was unwilling to admit it. And in order to resist, he deliberately frowned and said something against his heart. Uncomfortable? You reap what you sow, serves you right. She seemed to sober up a little as she vomited. She raised her head, her eyes were red with tears, and her hair was messy, stained with some dirty water. She looked like a beggar. Compared to the physical pain, his ridicule stung her heart more. Do you think I want to? Her dry lips made a hoarse sound, suppressing the pain. I don't want to go either. No one is forcing you with a knife on your neck. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. I think you enjoy that kind of occasion. Don't women like the feeling of being surrounded by men? Don't you like to be a butterfly on the table, showing off your charm as Tao Yuan? Every single word was as hurtful as ice shards. I heard that when you were in the business department, you were even better than the public relations and you couldn't miss out on that kind of dinner. Luli's voice was a bit sour. Do I have any other way? Nowadays, when discussing cooperation, if you don't drink, if you don't attend the dinner, who will care about you? Do you think I really want to? Her eyes became even redder, not knowing whether it was because of the alcohol or her tears. It was clearly a sad and aggrieved past, but he used it to satirize her, every word piercing her heart. You won't understand how much I hate dinner, how much I hate dealing with those men. Do you think I can't see the things in their eyes? That I don't know their ulterior motives? But what can I do? Every time I attend a dinner, I'm very afraid. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing, I'm afraid of drinking too much, I'm afraid of letting others take advantage of me. Do you think it's easy for a woman to gain a foothold in this circle? Chapter 482. I risked my life to drink, risked my life to work. I was hospitalized a few times because of stomach problems, but I still had to continue working. I just had an 4 drip in the afternoon and I had to drink at night. No one would care if I lived or died. The more I forced you, the happier they were. So, I could only risk my life to exchange for those projects. I was alone and no one would feel sorry for me. I didn't even have the strength to feel sorry for myself. That was how I went through the years when you weren't around. I put in so much effort, I exhausted all my efforts and finally had a little bit of success. But one sentence from you turned all my efforts into nothing. You were always so cruel, knowing how to completely destroy me. And you never showed mercy. Because you were originally a heartless person. And I was the person you hated the most, destroying my efforts. You must be very happy. Anyway, in your eyes, I relied on sleeping with men to get to where I am. I'm a dirty woman, I don't deserve to get those things, do I? The lowly me can only be your plaything, manipulated by you, played by you. Some of the sadness that she had suppressed in her heart, which she had never spoken about before, all came out with the help of the alcohol. She rambled on a lot. You said I changed. That's because I've been through a lot. When I was suffering, where were you? Which woman's bed were you on? I always thought about it, and thinking about it made me hate you, hate myself. If the person I liked wasn't you, then maybe I wouldn't have had such a hard time. I'm a woman, I also want to rely on my husband and I don't want to live so hard. But you can never give me what I want. I can only rely on myself and become more and more independent. Do you think I want to become like this? Luli, you will never know how much pain you brought me. Of course you don't care at all. You're right, I deserve it. After saying so much as if she had used up all her energy, Tao Yuan collapsed on the toilet bowl. She closed her eyes and giggled alone. She laughed and laughed and laughed until tears came out. It was so desolate. That smile was the most heartbreaking smile Luli had ever seen. Like a poison, it slowly seeped into his body, producing a kind of sore and powerless pain. It wasn't a strong feeling, but it was enough to make him feel powerless and hate himself. She was the cause of everything that had happened today. She was the one who ruined him. He kept telling himself that. Therefore, even if she was injured, it was not worth his heartache. For the sake of revenge, he should sprinkle salt on her wounds. However, she was his wife. If he let his woman live such a miserable life, was he still a man? For the first time, Luli felt remorseful and could understand why she was so cold to him now. After experiencing so many disappointments, no matter how strong the love was, it would still be consumed by despair, right? After all he had given her was pain. Should he let her go? Divorce would end the pain for both of them. There was no need to aggravate the damage. However, there was still a voice screaming in his body that he could not let go just like that. Was it just because he was unwilling? Was it because he wanted to torture her and give her a destructive blow in the future? That didn't seem to be the case. For a moment, Luli couldn't tell the true thoughts in his heart. Probably because he was used to this kind of chaos, he actually didn't want to deliberately distinguish it. He only knew that at this moment he only felt heartache and pity for this woman. Even the most vicious beast would have a moment of tenderness. He didn't want to force himself to treat her badly. He walked over, half squatted down in front of her and cupped her face. She dodged, not willing to let him see her face that was filled with tears. "Don't touch me," she whimpered and wanted to avoid him, but her body was being melted bit by his body temperature, becoming powerless to resist. This was her. Even when her face was covered in tears, her eyes still flashed with a stubbornness that couldn't be ignored, causing Luli's heartstring to become tighter and tighter. His heart trembled as his strong body slowly leaned over, bringing with it a gentleness that he himself didn't realize. "Don't cry. With me here, no one can bully you anymore," she whimpered. "You're lying. You're the one who bullies me the most," she complained like a child. "I won't do it again," Luli promised. Although he wasn't sure if he could do it, he didn't want to see her cry and feel wronged again, at least for now. "I won't bully you anymore," he whispered with heartache, held her in his arms, gently stroked her back and repeated the promise in her ear over and over again. "I won't bully you anymore. Don't cry, I'm here." In the dream, a gentle voice echoed. Tao Yuan slowly opened her eyes. Her whole body was soft as if she was weightless. She couldn't feel anything, but she could hear some sounds in her ears. She couldn't tell if it was reality or a dream. Outside, the television was broadcasting the news. She didn't feel uncomfortable at all, but her whole body was indescribably soft. After a long time, she gathered her strength, sat up, and looked around the familiar room. Some scenes flashed in her mind. Drinking party, men and women's entanglement, and Director Li's greedy smile. Tao Yuan's back shivered and she almost jumped out of the bed. Her clothes were changed into pajamas. Who changed it for her? Luli? She remembered him. It seemed to be at the elevator. Her heart of fear returned to its place. When she walked out of the room, the television was on, and the male news anchor was broadcasting the latest morning news. The aroma of coffee was very mellow. A handsome man, bathed in the morning light, elegantly crossed his legs, holding a newspaper and reading it. His slender fingers rested on the edge of the coffee cup. His eyes stared at the newspaper, picked up the coffee cup and took a sip. The mellow taste spread between his lips and teeth. When his thin lips opened, a row of snow-white teeth were revealed, and there was a smile on those teeth. Morning. That smile appeared on his face, like the warm rising sun, instantly made a numbing feeling from every part of her body, from Tao Yuan's heart, and her whole body couldn't help but tremble. This man had a fatal attraction to her. "Why are you here? Do you need me to help you recall what happened last night?" He put the newspaper aside and pointed his chin at the television. "Maybe this can help you recover some of your memories first." Tao Yuan looked at the screen, which was broadcasting the news of Director Li being taken away for investigation after his resignation. A group of reporters surrounded him and the camera flashed non-stop. He kept using his hands to cover himself, like a mouse exposed to the sun. Tao Yuan had long known that there was something wrong with him, and her first reaction when she saw the news was that this kind of person should have been arrested long ago. God really had opened his eyes. Of course, this was obviously not God's credit. But she looked at Luli and there was a faint smile on his lips, very deep. After loving him for more than 10 years, she knew too well what his every expression meant. When he was a student, every time he received an award, there would be such a faint smile on his lips. "I originally only wanted him to resign and disappear from Motu City forever, but after thinking about it, I really let him off too easily. This kind of scum should be in prison, don't you think?" He smiled very politely, but deep down he was a demon. However, on this matter, Tao Yuan liked that he was so ruthless. "Did you know that you were the first to call me for help last night? It turns out that I was the first person you thought of when you were in danger." Tao Yuan blushed and opened her mouth to deny it. However, the truth was there, and the more she denied it, the more guilty she was. In an emergency, she actually had more reliable people to contact. For example, Fang Yicheng or Pan Qi, they would definitely rush over. However, she bet her life on Luli. Now that she thought about it, she felt that it was unbelievable. She only had one chance to call. What if he didn't come? She was very scared, but Tao Yuan pretended to sit down calmly and poured a glass of milk. Because she didn't want to answer this question, she asked him instead. "You were with a woman at that time, right? Am I bothering you or something?" I didn't expect you to come. Lu Li twitched the corner of his mouth. You didn't expect it and neither did I. It was his body's instinct to save her. If she asked him to give a reason, he couldn't give it. No matter what, you are my wife. How can I let you be violated by a toad? This reason was dignified and could cover up his nervousness at that time. Of course, she wouldn't show how worried she was. Tao Yuan nodded. This did seem like his motive for doing this. She couldn't hope that he was worried about her. Anyway, thank you. Even if he had brought her irreparable harm, she was still very grateful to him for this matter. With your words, I didn't even sleep with the female model last night and took care of you the whole night. His tone was quite frivolous. A scene flashed through Tao Yuan's mind. It was in the bathroom, he hugged her and he comforted her gently in her ears. With me around, no one can bully you. I won't bully you anymore. Was it not a dream? Her ears suddenly turned hot. He was actually so gentle to her. Was he acting? However, she was already drunk to that extent, so why should he continue acting? Last night, you vomited all over yourself, so I helped you change your clothes. He suddenly said with some evil intentions. Tao Yuan didn't know how to respond. Should she say thank you? I remember I vomited in the toilet. Yes, but you were very smelly. I didn't want to be suffocated by you, so I helped you change into your pajamas. He stared straight into her eyes, which became more and more charming and evil. I changed all of them. Couldn't it be enough that they both knew about it? Why did he have to say it out loud? Was he deliberately making her feel embarrassed? Tao Yuan felt that if she didn't say anything, she would tacitly agree to his shameless behavior. Who asked you to do that? You are simply taking advantage of me. Chapter 483. All right, don't say any more. Tao Yuan's face was as red as an apple. I don't want to hear you say those words. Anyway, there won't be a next time. Don't even think about it. Don't think about it? But I'm already thinking about it now. Don't you think that we're progressing very quickly now? First we kissed, then we moved in together, and now I saw you naked. What do you think is the next step? There's no next step. You can only take advantage of me when you're drunk. I'll be more careful in the future. There are some things that you can't avoid just by being careful. Perhaps you don't want to avoid it. What's going to happen will happen sooner or later. Isn't it better to let it take its course? After all, I'm looking forward to our first time very much. The more he said, the more he went overboard. Tao Yuan raised her neck and revealed a very disgusted look. You always say these things. Is your lower body growing on your head and you only think with your genitals? You, Boss Lu, have power and influence. What kind of woman can't you get? Why do you have to pester me and not let go? Anyway, sex is just a way for you to vent. You can find anyone. That's how it is. Lu Li took a sip of his coffee and nodded slowly. But now I realize that I'm getting more and more addicted to you. Other women can't be like you. When I'm with you, all I can think about is how I can push you down. Even if there are other women who are more beautiful than you standing naked in front of me, I'll also think about how good it would be if it was you, so I lose interest in them. He was lying, right? He had so many women, how could he only have her? But he really didn't have to lie like that. Just last night, didn't he also abandon another woman to save her? It was such an evil look, but she felt that it was so serious, like a fire burning her whole body. He leaned over, and her figure was reflected in his bottomless black eyes. In this world now, the only one I want is you, Tao Yuan. In this world now, the only one I want is you, Tao Yuan. Tao Yuan was lost again, and these words kept echoing in her ears. Even if she shook her head to drive the voice out of her mind, she still couldn't forget his burning and serious eyes. It was like a whirlpool, sucking her soul into it. Is this one good or this one? Hey, I'm talking to you. Pan Chi pushed her and said unhappily. I asked you to accompany me to buy my dad's birthday present. Why are you so distracted? Why are you so distracted? Nothing. Although Tao Yuan said that, her eyes were still a little unfocused. It was obvious that her mind had not completely returned. Do you know what it reminds me of when you look like this? Pan Pat. It reminds me of when you were infatuated with Lu Li. Back then you were also distracted just like now. I say, don't tell me you've rekindled your feelings for him? However, they never got back together in the first place. There was no possibility at all. So why should she feel guilty? You don't dare to look at me when you're lying. Didn't you say you want a divorce? How's it going? It's less than a week. How can it be so fast? How long can it take to sign the papers? Didn't you say you must get a divorce last time? You won't regret it now, will you? I still have to get a divorce, but now is not the time. Then when do you think the time will be? The moment she moved away, Pan Chi chased after her relentlessly. How long do you think it will take? How would I know? The divorce isn't something I can handle alone. I need him to sign it. If he doesn't want to sign it, can I put his finger on the agreement and force him to sign it? It's his business if he doesn't want to sign it. What I'm afraid of is that you don't want to get a divorce. Pan Chi said worriedly. I see that he has been quite attentive to you recently. You wouldn't be deceived by a few words of his, would you? Let me tell you, that bastard is good at dealing with women. He's pestering you now because he's cheap. He can't accept that you don't like him. He can't accept that you divorced him for another man. He can't accept that he's the one who was dumped. It has nothing to do with love. At the end of the day, it's all for his dignity. When you fall head over heels in love with him again, he will torture you to death in minutes. Do you believe it or not? You've suffered enough and been foolish enough for the past 10 years, haven't you? Don't make yourself suffer. Otherwise, I will ignore you if you cry to me in the future. Tao Yuan didn't have much hope for Lu Li, but after hearing Pan Chi's words, she felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over her. That was the feeling of good advice grating on the ear. I know I will definitely divorce him. Don't worry about it. Don't just say that you know. Take some action and quickly get a divorce. The longer you delay, the older you get. Do you know that? My father's birthday is in 2 days. You will invite a lot of people. I will introduce some young talents to you. I promise they will be 10,000 times better than that bastard. Pan Chi said excitedly. She couldn't wait to send them to her. Thank you for your kindness, but I don't want to be accused of adultery. When I get a divorce, I can find a good man. Right? Then you have to be careful. I will keep an eye out for you. I will go out to take a call. You can help me choose. Tao Yuan thought that it was Pan Chi's father's birthday. It would be inappropriate if she didn't buy a gift. So she decided to buy a tie to show her sincerity. His gaze wandered around and was attracted by a dark striped tie. It was a simple style, very elegant, and the color was very low-key. It would look good with Lu Li's gray suit. Why did she think of him? But she just felt that this tie really suited him. It seemed to be tailor-made for him. Do you want to see it? The shop assistant asked enthusiastically. This tie is this year's latest style. It suits you very well. You have a good eye. Tao Yuan was a little hesitant. Hearing the shop assistant's words, she was more tempted and nodded. Holding it in her hand, the texture was very good. She liked it even more. Seeing that Pan Chi was still on the phone outside, she said hurriedly, "Wrap it up for me." "Okay. Should I wait for Miss Pan to pay together?" "No. I will pay by card first." Tao Yuan added, "It's a surprise. Don't tell her. Please make it quick. Just wrap it up." "Okay." Tao Yuan kept looking outside, afraid that Pan Chi would come in. After the shop assistant wrapped it up, she quickly stuffed it into her bag and swiped her card. All the actions were done in one go like a thief. After work, when Tao Yuan returned home, Lu Li had already arrived. He was sitting on the sofa watching TV. It was the sports channel. Listening to the sound from the TV and looking at his relaxed posture, she suddenly had the illusion that they were an old couple who had lived together for a long time. She didn't say anything. She put down her bag and went into the kitchen to cook. While cooking, she kept thinking about the tie in her bag. She really regretted it. She must have been crazy to buy it for him just now. If he found out, he might laugh at her. Why did he have to humiliate himself for no reason? She was crazy. The feeling of being a thief had lasted from the moment he bought the tie until now. It was as if he was carrying a ticking time bomb. She was in a dilemma whether to give it or not. She had already bought it. Wouldn't it be a waste if she didn't give it to him? Besides, it was just a tie. It was normal for friends to give each other a gift. Did she need to think so much? She didn't like him. What was there to feel guilty about? He consoled himself and felt that this seemed to be the case. But on second thought, she was already asking for a divorce. Why did she look for trouble at this time? He would think that she was trying to be nice to him. She could imagine how he would mock her. She said one thing to his face and another behind his back. She said she wanted to divorce him but gave him a tie to persuade her to stay. What a hypocritical woman. There was a burnt smell. The fish was fried. Tao Yuan flipped it over hurriedly. She was flustered and it was really hard. The hour of cooking felt like 10,000 years of conflict. Finally, she decided not to give it to him. It was a waste. She breathed a sigh of relief. But when she took the dishes out, she saw that Lu Li had already put on her tie. Her eyes widened. She bought it? That's right. The package was still on the table. Why did you take my things? Didn't you want to give it to me? Luli looked quite satisfied with the tie and teased her. You pick a tie as well as you pick a man. Tao Yuan was speechless when he praised her in a roundabout way. Who said I was giving it to you? Why did you go through my bag? That's very rude. Who went through your bag? It was on the table. It was wrapped so well. Isn't it a gift for me? When did she put it on the table? She couldn't remember. Take it off. It's not for you. She was in a hurry to snatch it back. Luli avoided her with a sidestep and smiled. A man's tie. If it's not for me, is it for you? It's for my father. The design and color are for young people. It's not suitable for your father. Luli had an expression of, I knew you were lying. Feeling guilty, Tao Yuan was even more anxious to deny it. Do you think you know how to dress? This color is very popular for middle-aged men. Why should my father dress like an old man? I think this tie suits him very well. Really? But why do I feel that it was tailor-made for me? I'm a man. I know how to match men's clothes better than you. This tie is obviously for me. Don't flatter yourself. What's the relationship between us? Why should I buy it for you? Even if it's not for my father, I can buy it for other men. Didn't you say that I like to hook up everywhere? Can't I give it to other men? Tao Yuan raised her head and refuted word by word. She didn't know that the louder her voice was, the more determined her attitude was, the more guilty she was. In Luli's eyes, she was like an angry kitten. Yes. Why don't you admit it? Look me in the eye and tell me, who did you buy this tie for? Tao Yuan wanted to say, anyway, it's not for you. But when she met his charming and sharp eyes, she couldn't say it. Chapter 484. Do you not want to admit that you gave me a necktie? Since you bought it, why are you hiding it? I'm afraid you'll misunderstand, she compromised. She just couldn't lie. He had already made up his mind. The more she said, the more it would seem. I bought it for you, but I just wanted to thank you for helping me last night. It was just an impulse. After I came back, I calmed down and was afraid that you'd misunderstand, so I didn't want to give it to you. Who knew that you'd have so many hands and feet to take other people's things? She pouted and looked sad and depressed. She was so cute. Luli's heart skipped a beat. He enjoyed her way of acting cute. Women are so pretentious. It's just a necktie. Why is your brain so long? Aren't you thinking too much? I'm just afraid that you'll think too much. You're so narcissistic. Who knows if you'll mistakenly think that I like you? Don't you like me? I don't. Her tone was firm, but she didn't dare to look at him. You don't mean it. Do you know what buying me a necktie means? It means that you miss me, so when you see something you like, you'll consciously connect it with me. Isn't it reasonable for a woman to like this man? There was a faint smile on his lips as he spoke in a patient manner, guiding her to understand the true meaning of his inner thoughts. However, such a deep tone messed up Tao Yuan's ears and made her feel even more guilty. She subconsciously gripped her skirt with her hands, and a thin layer of cold sweat seeped out of her palms. She didn't like the feeling of guilt in front of him. However, this man's eyes were too sharp. He could always see through her. In front of him, any pretense she put on was transparent. Tao Yuan didn't like the feeling of guilt, but she was the kind of person who would be stubborn to the end, so she still retorted in front of Luli. I told you that you're very narcissistic. It's just a necktie. What's there to like about it? Don't forget we're getting divorced soon. That's just what I thought before. Don't you think that we're getting along better and better? You see, we live in the same house now. That's because you took over my home. I can't possibly abandon my own home just to avoid you, right? When I look at you every day, my heart feels stifled. How is it harmonious? Her words sounded a little childish, but Luli liked it very much. Outsiders could only see the mature and beautiful side of Tao Yuan. However, only Luli could see her angry side. In the man's heart, there was naturally a sense of satisfaction, feeling that she completely belonged to him. You talk about divorce, but you already have the self-awareness of being a wife. Tell me, isn't your body more honest than your mouth? What wife's conscience? You're going too far. Taking care of the husband's daily necessities, this is the wife's responsibility. As soon as you came home, you went into the kitchen to cook and even bought a necktie for me. What a well-behaved wife. Luli took the opportunity to touch her face. Her skin was as smooth as cream. It was probably like this. As his palm brushed past it, it was as soft as tofu. It was so smooth that he could not bear to let it go. Don't touch me. Tao Yuan rubbed the place where he had touched in disgust. Giving a necktie makes you a wife? What kind of logic is this? Can't friends give each other gifts? I can tell you about our relationship. This necktie is very ambiguous. The redder her face became, the more Lu Li's heart moved. His strong body slowly approached her. Have you been thinking about me today? No. Tao Yuan retorted loudly. She was so regretful now that her intestines were green. If I knew that you would be so narcissistic, I wouldn't have given it to you no matter what. No, I didn't intend to give it to you. You took it yourself. Give it back to me, give it back to me. She was anxious to snatch the necktie back, but there was a great difference in strength between a man and a woman. Lu Li easily avoided her as if he was teasing a little pet. This is mine, you rascal. Tao Yuan tried harder to snatch it back. In the end, she did not know if it was intentional or not, but he stretched out his leg and tripped her, causing her to fall into his arms. The moment she felt a chill on her back, he hugged her tightly. With one arm around him, his strong arm held her firmly, burning her skin. She was instantly flustered. She twisted her body and tried to pull his fingers. Lu Li, let go of me. You were the one who threw yourself into my arms, but you told me to let go. You really can't get tired of this kind of trick. His sexy lips twitched slightly, forming an evil smile. Even if there was a hint of mockery, it could not hide the fatal attraction. His pitch-black pupils seemed to be able to steal souls, causing Tao Yuan's mind to be thrown into chaos and her entire body to tremble. Her face was red now, and her lips were trembling uneasily. They were thin and tender, making him yearn to kiss them. With such a beauty in his arms, how could Lu Li not feel anything? His heart stirred. You gave me a gift, so I should return the favor. Shouldn't I give you a gift too? He pressed his body against hers, his voice sexy and mesmerizing. Tao Yuan swallowed nervously. His face, which was illuminated by the light, was extremely good-looking. The dark blue necktie made the edges of his face even more prominent. How could there be such a handsome man? He was like a demon but also like the handsome Apollo. Her body was unbearably hot, and she could still hear her own heartbeat. Thump, 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 it was beating very quickly. At this moment, her mind was in a mess. Only his masculine scent invaded her mind. Her soft little hands pressed against his chest, and she almost whimpered. Don't do this, you'll like it? Lu Li moved her hands away. Now their chests were completely pressed against each other. The woman's soft breasts pressed against his muscular chest, rubbing against it gently. Tao Yuan was like a little beast at the mercy of others. She could no longer resist, or rather she didn't want to resist. She only watched as that handsome face grew larger and larger. Finally, his cold thin lips kissed her lips. At that moment, an electric current ran through her body. This wasn't their first kiss, but before this, it was like a wild beast snatching food. It was a barbaric plunder without any gentleness. But now this kiss was like a soft feather landing on her lips. It was as if she was kissing for the first time. Her whole body froze and she didn't know how to respond. Lu Li smiled deeply. At first, it was just a gentle kiss, but in the end he pried open her lips and invaded her with ease. Her taste was so sweet that it made him feel like she was inexperienced. It was as if he was the only one who could pluck her sweetness and let him have a taste of it. A wave of heat gradually flowed down to his lower body. His brain was very excited and every part of his body was surging with a strong impulse. He couldn't control himself and wanted to torture her ruthlessly. But his lips became gentler and gentler. That kind of tenderness, that kind of entanglement, seeped into her soul. Tao Yuan's stiff body gradually softened. She couldn't tell if she was in reality or in a dream. Her whole body was soft. She even couldn't help but respond, chasing after his cool taste. She really liked it. If it was a dream, then don't wake up. This kiss lasted for a very long time. When it ended, Lu Li was a little reluctant. His eyes were soaked and bright, shining with a light that Tao Yuan had never seen before. He was smiling and that smile was very real. Was this smile because of her? In her heart, there was a strange sense of happiness. I'm your present. His lips pressed against her burning ears. His smiling voice was so pleasant to hear that it could make her ears pregnant. Tao Yuan opened her eyes wide and blinked a few times innocently, until his eyes became more and more bewitching, and his hoarse voice murmured with a smirk. Are you tempting me to eat you? Swoosh! Tao Yuan's face instantly turned red to the roots of her ears. She frantically struggled out of his arms. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm talking nonsense? I can guarantee you that if I didn't stop the kiss just now, you'd be naked now. Tonight we're no longer a husband and wife in name. How is that possible? Tao Yuan wanted to mock him for being so self-righteous, but her words were very weak. She felt very guilty. Do you think I'm like those women outside that you can get me with just one or two flowery words? You're wrong. The women outside have always thrown themselves at me. They don't need my flowery words at all. Only you made me spend so much effort. Lu Li said half seriously. Does this make you very proud? You still say that you don't know how to use flowery words? What you just said is just flowery words. But I'm already past the age where I'll be fooled by these lies. Oh really? In that case we can save those words. Let's go straight to the point, how about it? Isn't adult love just? He touched her hand with a hint of meaning. Tao Yuan was scalded and hurriedly moved away. Don't be so, aren't you the one who hinted me to go straight to the point? You're simply unreasonable. I can't communicate with you. Although Tao Yuan said so, in fact she couldn't win against him, so she found a way out of this embarrassing situation. She had been in the business world for a few years and had developed a good eloquence, but it couldn't be compared to a word or two from this man. He said that she had a sharp tongue, but he was obviously the most eloquent one, okay? Men were better at bickering than women. It was really amazing. Thank you for your gift, but I also gave you a gift in return. You also liked my gift, didn't you? Just now you responded very passionately to me. His fingers stroked his slightly swollen lips. The man's eyebrows were extremely flirtatious, as if he was still reminiscing about the wonderful taste just now. Tao Yuan felt that if she denied it again, he would definitely think that she was too guilty, so she might as well admit it openly. That can only mean that your kissing skills are superb. I admit that among so many men that I've kissed, your kissing skills are one of the best. Lu Li knew that this woman was just beating around the bush to make him feel comfortable. But how could such an inexperienced kissing skill be able to kiss many men? He would not believe such a clumsy lie. How many men have you kissed? Chapter 485. I have slept with many women and I am a veteran. So compared to kissing, my bed skills are better. Do you want to try? From what I see, your awkward kissing skills don't look like you have kissed many men. You are lying. Why should I lie? Kissing is always dominated by men. Women are responsible for enjoying it. Don't you know that men prefer their women to be more awkward? You sound like you know a lot. Of course. So I am not as inexperienced as you say. We are all veterans in this field. Although I have slept with fewer men than your women, I have slept with quite a lot. Tao Yuan thought that these words would anger Lu Li, but to her surprise he laughed out loud. Hearty laughter came from his chest, as if he had heard the funniest joke. She was unhappy and felt a little humiliated. What are you laughing at? Nothing. I just think that your ability to lie through your teeth is better than your ability to say yes. I admire you. What do you mean by lying through my teeth? I have slept with many men. Tao Yuan emphasized. In your eyes, am I not a fickle, bad woman? She kept emphasizing that she had slept with many men, but Lu Li did not even believe her punctuation marks. He looked like he did not want to argue with her and let her have her way. Okay. You have slept with many men, okay? That expression made Tao Yuan even more unhappy. What kind of tone is that? I have always been like that. I said yes, but I did not say no. Can we eat now? The fish is cold and smells fishy. Lu Li sat down, picked up the bowl and filled it with soup. Tao Yuan stood there for a while, angry. He did not coax her and she felt bored. She kept emphasizing to him that she had slept with many men. Was she crazy? Did she have to humiliate herself like that? Who was she pretending to be a bad woman for? What a mess. The more she said, the more mistakes she made. Let's eat. Her eyes always unconsciously looked at the tie. Although he had taken it away by force, she had to say that it really suited him. She had good taste. He was wearing the tie that she had given him. She had picked it herself. Her heart was filled with a sweetness that she couldn't suppress. The corners of Tao Yuan's mouth rose unconsciously. Although he really made her gnash her teeth in hatred sometimes, it was hard to deny the fact that he was an outstanding and mature man. Therefore, most of the time she couldn't control her heartbeat. Sharing a room with him and having a peaceful dinner like this was something that she didn't even dare to think about in the past. At first she was really repulsed by it, but now it seemed more and more natural. She could feel that she was falling into a trap. It was as if she was being controlled by an irresistible force. However, that would be a dangerous trap. The next day, Tao Yuan was in a good mood and worked energetically. Too many things had been bothering him recently, and he had been feeling restless every day. It was rare for him to be able to turn from gloomy to sunny today, and everything seemed to have become better. Was the change in her mood because of Lu Li? She didn't want to admit it. During lunch break, Lin Wei came looking for her for lunch. They had nothing to do after lunch, so Lin Wei suggested that they go to the company's anniversary celebration. This was supposed to be Tao Yuan's responsibility, but she had been very resistant, so she didn't do much. Lu Li had been handling it. After the last time, she hadn't been there for a few days. She didn't know if he had removed the roses. When she arrived at the venue, she was dumbfounded. The whole venue was even more pink, just like a wedding. Even the air was filled with a romantic atmosphere. Every breath she took was fragrant and sweet. Wow, so romantic. This is the company's anniversary celebration, not a wedding? Did I come to the wrong place? Lin Wei's eyes were wide open. Sister Yuan, are you and the president going to have a wedding? You're thinking too much. But in this kind of environment, I can't help but think too much. This isn't your responsibility, right? Did the president arrange it? Tao Yuan didn't know how to answer. Was Lu Li out of his mind? What did he want? Was he trying to use such a high-profile method to embarrass her? Of course, she didn't believe that he did all this because he liked her. She only believed that there was no such thing as a pie in the sky, only a trap. The higher one was thrown, the harder it fell. The supervisor was supervising the workers moving the things. Tao Yuan asked, "What's inside?" The president personally ordered rainbow-colored roses from Holland. Rainbow-colored roses? Yes, the pink roses and the decorations were all arranged by the president himself. He comes to check twice a day. The supervisor replied. Even a man couldn't help but feel envious. The president is very concerned about this. Lin Wei's face glowed with excitement. Once the supervisor left, she pinched Tao Yuan like a high school student. Did you hear that? It was all arranged by the president himself. The president really loves you. Tao Yuan didn't dare to think that way. You misunderstood. The truth is right in front of you, how could I misunderstand? Do you have so little confidence in yourself? In my opinion, the CEO wants to give you a grand wedding. Super romantic. With our relationship, does he need to please me? Didn't you see how he treats me? That was in the past. I know the relationship between you and your husband isn't good, but you're not the same person anymore. You're so beautiful now and so capable. The president will definitely look at you differently. Who doesn't like smart girls? He even accompanied you to a department event last time. Isn't that enough to explain the situation? When the two of you stand together, you look like a perfect match and you work well together. The way the president looks at you is different, I'm not exaggerating. People were always so contradictory. Even though she knew the words were fake, Tao Yuan still felt a little moved. She knew she should believe Pan Chi's harsh advice, but it was really tiring to stay awake all the time. She was a woman and she also wanted to hear sweet words, even if they were lies. He had arranged everything so meticulously. Perhaps he really wanted to please her? Recently he had really put in a lot of effort on her. Occasionally he would show gentleness and care, but it wasn't completely fake. She would just think of it as deceiving herself and others. It was too hard to stay awake. She also wanted to dream. Why was there a need to guess at his sinister motives instead of harboring a bit of a beautiful vision? Life was short and it was better to be happy every day than to be unhappy all the time. Even if the final outcome was disappointment, at least she had happy memories. Thinking about this, Tao Yuan's mood became even more cheerful. If it was just a sunny day just now, then it was warm and sunny now. She didn't even realize that her face and eyes were full of moving expressions. Love was a woman's best nourishment, but also the most poisonous poison. In the evening, Tao Yuan was invited to Pan Chi's father's birthday party. Before she got off work, she sent a text to Lu Li, saying that she wouldn't go home to cook. He didn't reply, so she tacitly agreed. Thinking about it, it was funny. What agreement? She wasn't his nanny, and if she didn't want to cook, then she wouldn't cook. Why would she need his approval? Pan Chi's father, Pan Ishan, was the biggest builder in Motu City and had a lot of influence in the upper class, so the guests that night were all famous people in various industries. Pan Chi held Pan Ishan's hand and accompanied him to greet the guests. When she saw Tao Yuan coming, she quickly waved at her. Tao Yuan and Pan Ishan had business dealings before, and with her relationship with Pan Chi, they were even more familiar, so they warmly exchanged a few greetings. Pan Ishan's attitude towards her was more friendly than others. It's good that you're here. Why did you give me a gift? It's too expensive. You've helped me so much before and you're Chi-Chi's father. It's a small gift to show my respect. Pan Ishan nodded, turned his head and smiled to educate Pan Chi. Look at how good Tao Yuan is with words, and she's also slick in the business world. As for you, you've been back for so long but you only know how to play. I asked you to help out in the company, but you kept pushing it around. You don't have any ambition at all. Oh Dad, it's enough for me to have you. Why do I still need ambition? Pan Chi said coquettishly. I just want to be your sweet little cotton jacket and make you happy. Nothing else is important. Do you think Dad can support you for a lifetime? I'm old, Dad. Tui, don't say such things on such a good day. You'll live for 100 years and you'll never be old. You're such a sweet talker. Pan Ishan, who was very serious in front of outsiders, was just a kind and loving father in front of his daughter. He smiled until his eyes were squinted. Tao Yuan couldn't help but feel a little envious. In her father's eyes, the company and interests were the most important. They would probably never be able to get along so well. Pan Chi held Tao Yuan's hand and left. Come with me. Where to? Aren't you going to accompany your father? I'll introduce you to someone. Pan Chi said mysteriously, her eyes revealing excitement. Oh, I'll only stay for a while and leave soon. I don't want to know anyone. Hey, don't ask. You'll know when you see him. A few men in suits and leather shoes were talking with confidence. Pan Chi waved to one of the mixed-race men and he walked over. Tao Yuan's eyes lit up. What a handsome man. Of course he was not as handsome as Lu Li, but he was still very eye-catching in the crowd. After all, he was a mixed-race man and had a genetic advantage. He won from the starting line. Let me introduce you. This is my dearest bestie Tao Yuan. This is my classmate in Spain. His Chinese name is Su Teng, the young master of the Su Electronics Company. Hello. Tao Yuan shook hands with him politely, and then whispered in Pan Chi's ear. What the hell? I'm married. Isn't it too inappropriate for you to do this? Is there any difference between being married and not being married? If you don't tell him, he won't know. I didn't say that you have sex with him tonight. Look around first. Just treat it as making friends. What was the difference between a married woman coming on a blind date and fraud? He's handsome, isn't he? When I was in school, so many girls were crazy about him. He's also very smart. He's not an ordinary rich second generation. The men I can introduce to you must be the best quality men that I've carefully selected. Make good use of them. After saying that, Pan Chi found an excuse and left. Tao Yuan was helpless. She was so obvious that Su Ting must have known her motive. To avoid embarrassment, she took the initiative to tease him. Chapter 486. Su Ting shrugged, obviously used to it. His gaze followed Pan Chi. She moved freely through the guests with a graceful bearing, and she was like a shining pearl. Every move she made or even a smile she made emitted a light that moved the heart of others. Occasionally she would smile slyly at him. Su Ting felt like his heart was about to melt. Tao Yuan saw love in his eyes. Eyes were the easiest to betray a person's heart. Moreover, she couldn't be more familiar with this kind of gaze. She used to look at Lu Li from afar, thinking that she was being careful and didn't want him to see through her, but bystanders could see it clearly. How could love be hidden? You like Chi? This wasn't a question but a statement. Su Ting was stunned and blushed. A handsome man like him seemed a little shy at this moment. Is it that obvious? Yes. Even if you don't say it, it will flow from your eyes. That's love. Hey, you understand at a glance. Unfortunately, Chi doesn't understand. She's always careless and careless. If you don't expose it, she won't find out. If you like her, why don't you confess to her? Su Ting sighed. She's too beautiful. Since university, she's been the center of attention, shining brightly with countless suitors. Many people who are better than me have been rejected by her. I have no hope. I don't want to lose our friendship in the end. Tao Yuan could understand his thoughts. Having a crush on someone, no matter how good you are, you will feel that you are not worthy of the other party. You will feel inferior, sensitive, and cautious. But if you don't even say it, isn't it a pity? It's Chi-Chi's luck to be liked by you. Find a chance to confess, don't leave regrets for the future. Just like her, she never regretted letting Lu Li know her feelings. Even now, she was covered in wounds from head to toe in this relationship, but she had never regretted it. Thank you. You're really different from Chi-Chi. You're more mature than her. Their personalities complemented each other. She was more reckless in high school, and as her mother, I had to follow behind her and clean up her mess. Su Ting was amused. You're quite humorous. We're all friends, there's no need to be so serious. I heard that you are the commercial manager of the Wilton Hotel? Su Ting's eyes were filled with admiration. Tao Yuan didn't deny it. She thought that the two of them wouldn't have the chance to get to know each other better, so there was no need to explain so much. I've stayed in that hotel a few times. I feel that whether it's the facilities or the service, it's the best in the country. But working there must be a lot of pressure, right? You must be very powerful to be able to become a business manager at such a young age. It's all right. There's definitely pressure, but it depends on whether you can turn it into motivation. Knowing that he liked Pan Chi, Tao Yuan became more casual with him. The more they chatted, the more they got along. Really? You must visit Spain when you have the chance. Well, if you come, I can be your tour guide. Let's exchange contact information. All right. Just as Tao Yuan was about to give him her phone number, her waist suddenly tightened. She was tightly gripped by an iron arm. Sorry I'm late. The man's lips landed on her cheek. His lips were cold. A familiar aura instantly enveloped Tao Yuan. Looking at the man's sharp jaw, her chest suddenly tightened. Luli, what was he doing here? The man standing beside her was wearing a straight black suit. He was tall and slender, exuding an unapproachable coldness. There was no extra expression on his face, so others couldn't see through his emotions at the moment. However, his eyes were handsome and there was a layer of bright light on his face, which made the bridge of his nose look even taller. In a short moment, his aura had completely enveloped her and locked her in place. Tao Yuan suddenly had a bad feeling. Su Teng was already very handsome, but compared to Lu Li, he immediately paled in comparison. Even an arrogant person like him couldn't help but look up to him. Who was this man who had such a majestic aura? Just as Tao Yuan was so nervous that her fingers were trembling, Lu Li suddenly raised the corner of his mouth, and a gentle smile appeared on his face, which looked very strange. Have you waited for a long time? There was clearly no one waiting for him, okay? How did he know she was here? She didn't say it in the text message. This is? Before Tao Yuan could answer, Lu Li spoke first. I'm Tao Yuan's husband, Lu Li. Su Ting's eyes widened in surprise. Tao Yuan felt very embarrassed. A married woman came out for a blind date? He must think that she was very something, right? From the look of the two of them, it was obvious that Tao Yuan was hiding the situation of her marriage, which was within Lu Li's expectations. She didn't have the guts to go around fooling around as a married woman. Although he had expected it, he still felt a little uncomfortable and his hand tightened. He was satisfied to see that her little face was pale from the pain. Lu Li, this name sounds so familiar, Su Ting thought for a while and suddenly realized. You are the CEO of Wilton Group? God, so this person in front of him was the legend of the financial world of Mo2 City, the powerful Lu Li. No wonder he had such an extraordinary aura. He originally thought that he was not good enough for Pan Chi, but now it seemed that he was far from being good enough for Tao Yuan. He only admired her intelligence, but he didn't expect her to be Lu Li's wife. She must have a charm that he didn't know yet. He was surprised and seemed a little stupid. Lu Li usually didn't want to deal with such lowly people. He smiled coldly and then gently said to Tao Yuan, "Let's go dance." Pan Chi went to entertain the guests and deliberately left the two of them alone. She estimated that it was about time and went back to check on the situation, but Su Teng was standing there alone, staring at the dance floor in a daze. She followed his gaze and thought that she had seen wrongly. Lu Li, when did that bastard come? Tao Yuan actually left Su Teng to dance with him? What was going on? What's going on? Didn't I ask you to accompany her? Why didn't you tell me that she is Boss Lu's wife? Pan Chi stared at the couple in the middle of the dance floor and said with a sullen face, "That's not important." Su Teng was speechless at her carelessness. Usually he was willing to accompany her to fool around, but this time was different. What kind of person was Lu Li? If he misunderstood that he was interested in his wife, he could make the Su enterprise go bankrupt in a minute. When we were talking, her husband suddenly came over. He must have misunderstood our relationship. Su Teng was a little worried, but he didn't want to blame him, so he could only say it tactfully. "Chi-Chi, I am very embarrassed by what you did." "What's there to be embarrassed about? They're going to divorce soon anyway." "Divorce? It doesn't seem like it. Boss Lu is very gentle to Tao Yuan." "Bullshit, that's all an act. That bastard is the best at acting." Su Teng was confused. "How can you say that about Boss Lu? Do you know who he is?" "Why don't I know? He is a despicable person with a belly full of evil tricks." "Don't say that. It will be terrible if he hears it." "Do you think I am afraid of him? I said the same thing in front of him. What would he dare to do to me?" Pan Chi had a good impression of Su Teng, but now she couldn't help but feel a little contemptuous. "Why are you so afraid of him? I will look down on you if you are so timid." Su Teng lowered his head, his face was very red. He was hurt by being criticized by the goddess he had a crush on. Pan Chi left him and walked towards Tao Yuan. Tao Yuan was kidnapped to the dance floor by Lu Li. She was very unwilling, but it was not good for her to struggle in public, so she could only dance with him. "Why are you here? Why can't I come?" Lu Li asked. "Is there any place I can't go? My wife is going on a blind date with another man behind my back. How can I ignore it? It's not a blind date. It's just a chat between two friends. You are about to exchange numbers. Isn't it a blind date? Do you want me to catch the two of you in bed?" Lu Li's smile was strange. Tao Yuan always felt that his words were sarcastic and a little sour. The situation just now was indeed easy to be misunderstood. If she explained that she didn't know, she would be mocked by him for being hypocritical. If that was the case, he might as well take the blame for it. "So what if it's a blind date? I told you that I have slept with many men. You are the one who didn't believe me. So, you're using your actions to prove to me that you've slept with a lot of men? I don't care about what you think, so I don't need to prove anything to you. But now that you've caught me, there's nothing I can say. But this shouldn't be a coincidence. You followed me again? I am really flattered to be highly valued by Boss Lu." Tao Yuan deliberately tried to provoke him. But she had used this trick too many times. Lu Li definitely wouldn't fall for it. He smiled instead of getting angry. "Then, since you have slept with many men, I think you don't mind sleeping with me too?" When he smiled, he revealed a row of neat, white teeth that shone brightly. The two of them danced gracefully. The dance was pleasing to the eye. All the guests present were firmly attracted by them. The dark blue diamond cufflinks on the cuffs of the suit reflected in Tao Yuan's eyes. The man in front of her became more and more handsome. He was frivolous and evil, but exuded a natural charm that was enough to make all the saintesses crazy. Her body was tense. She didn't know if he noticed her nervousness. Her messy heartbeat. He was wearing the tie that she gave him. The champagne, the wine, and the romantic environment were all intoxicating. Tao Yuan was momentarily dazed, until he leaned close to her and whispered in her ear, "Sleep with me tonight?" His magnetic voice stirred up her heartbeat. Her body suddenly heated up as if she was going to fall into his arms. She calmed herself down. "Sorry, I'm not interested in your body." His arms wrapped around her waist, and the two of them danced with their bodies pressed against each other. Tao Yuan had goosebumps all over her body. She must be as red as a roasted shrimp right now. Fortunately, it was winter, so she wore a coat over the dress. Chapter 487. Tao Yuan originally wanted to explain that Su Teng was not interested in her, but Pan Chi. But on second thought, it was good to make him jealous. Although Su Teng was not a threat to him and made him feel a sense of crisis, it was also good to dampen his spirit. She could not bear to see him being too arrogant. "You said that I have a single taste, but do you, Boss Lu, have a wide variety of taste in women? Which one of them is not a brainless woman who likes to stir up trouble? I have never seen anyone with a particularly high IQ. All of them speak without thinking. I like it when you have such a sharp tongue." As Lu Li spoke, he kissed her ear. Where their skin touched, there was an electric current. Tao Yuan could not help but tremble. She subconsciously pushed him gently, but she could not push him away. "You actually put aside such an important thing and came on a blind date. What important thing? Isn't cooking for me important enough?" Tao Yuan was speechless for a few seconds. Was that important? Did he really think of himself as a VIP? Unfortunately, in her eyes, he was just a P***. "For me, there are indeed a lot of important things, but unfortunately, cooking for you can't even enter the top 50. Boss Lu, you can't not even eat without me, right? I only want to eat you," a tender and sentimental voice whispered in her ears. "I can't help it. My appetite is spoiled by you. Only you can feed me now. Hey, don't stick so close. Can't you pay attention to your image in public?" It was getting too much. Just when Tao Yuan was a little flustered, the dance music finally ended and a sarcastic sneer came in. "Hey, isn't this Boss Lu? What brings you here?" Pan Chi stood there in a red gown, like a bright and beautiful rose, but a rose with thorns. Even in the eyes of Lu Li, Pan Chi could be considered a great beauty, but he was very disgusted. Beauty was a woman's capital, but if she relied on this to be too arrogant and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth, then she would be a joke. She would be more disgusting than an ordinary woman. "I received President Pan's invitation early in the morning, but I didn't plan on coming. I'm usually not interested in attending unless it's an important dinner." Pan Chi gritted her teeth. "However, since my wife wants to come, of course I have to accompany her." Lu Li hugged Tao Yuan's waist and kissed her hard on the face. It was so piercing that Pan Chi's eyes narrowed. This man was a demon. Was he using this pretense of gentleness to confuse Tao Yuan? She might fall for it, but she wouldn't. She wouldn't let her best friend be fooled by him again. Yuan was invited by me. I have a very good friend in Spain, so I specially introduced them to each other. Anyway, you're going to divorce soon. As her best friend, it's not too much for me to introduce you to her for the sake of her happiness, right? Divorce? Why didn't I know that we're going to divorce? Pan Chi thought to herself, keep pretending, Xiao Lu. President Lu has so many confidants outside, which one of them isn't sexier and more beautiful than our Yuan? Since President Lu's heart is already on the outside, Yuan doesn't want to hold you up. It's not so convenient to have a wife and people will talk about it. Who dares to talk about me? Lu Li's tone wasn't heavy, but it had a hint of arrogance. However, this arrogance wasn't without reason. In the entire Motu city, only Si Wenshin could be mentioned in the same breath as him. The other people were worlds apart from Lu Li, and no one dared to offend him. Of course, people won't talk about it in front of you, but you can imagine how nasty it is behind your back. This society still has morals and cheating is still despicable. President Lu has such a distinguished identity, and every move he makes is the topic of conversation in the entire Motu city. My wife and I are still married, and you're already introducing a man to her. Then, as the accomplice who incited her to cheat, how noble are you? Perhaps it's light to say that you incited her, and it's more accurate to say that you directed it. You like to meddle in our family matters. What are your intentions? Are you jealous that your best friend is married well? Jealous? Pan Chi just wanted to laugh 300 times to the sky. This sentence was the funniest joke she had ever heard. All the ridiculous feelings turned into a charming smile in the end. President Lu misunderstood. The reason why I'm still not married is because I don't want my marriage to be like yours. Tao Yuan's expression turned a little ugly, and Pan Chi could only apologize in her heart. However, the onlookers can't see the situation clearly, and she had to make her words as nasty as possible, or else she wouldn't be clear-headed. Of course, the few words that Pan Chi thought were nasty were just child's play in Lu Li's eyes. Just like how a fish knows the temperature of its water, only we know how our marriage is. As an outsider, how can you know better than us? Ah, self-righteous. My wife and I had some conflicts before, but this time she gave me a lot of surprises when I came back. Compared with her, those women outside are really too boring, and I naturally know how to choose. Our feelings are constantly warming up. I believe that it won't be long before we become a model couple that everyone envies. Looking at him lying through his teeth, Pan Chi was so angry that her face was cramping. I thought that President Lu's ability in business was already very good, but I didn't expect that your ability to lie was even better. Whether you're sincere or not towards Tao Yuan and what you're thinking, you know very well. You're not as good at pretending as you think, so, Yuan and I know. You're playing so many tricks because you're not willing to accept that she was the first to ask for a divorce, and that she can still live a wonderful life without you. But she's not the Tao Yuan of the past, so don't try to deceive her with sweet words. Really? But in my opinion, she likes my sweet words very much. Lu Li hugged Tao Yuan tighter and provoked her unscrupulously. I can make her love me for more than 10 years, so I can make her continue to love me for the rest of her life. The relationship between us, husband and wife, can't be interfered with by an outsider. For the sake of my wife, I won't argue with you about this matter this time, but remember, everything has its bottom line and you'd better not touch it. This kind of boring dinner party is really not as good as the two of us at home. Let's go home. He said to Tao Yuan in a very gentle manner, and his eyes were as gentle as water, but his hands secretly exerted force, and she couldn't break free even if she tried secretly. Tao Yuan was also very angry in her heart, but she didn't dare to embarrass Lu Li on such an occasion, so she could only apologize to Pan Chi. Then we'll leave first, I'll contact you when we get back. Yuan. Pan Chi was so angry that she stamped her feet. Damn it. Lu Li pulled Tao Yuan and walked very fast. His legs were long and his strides were big, so she had to jog to keep up, stumbling along the way. Hey, walk slower. Lu Li let go. When there was no one else, she forcefully pulled her wrist out of his hand. I don't like being dragged around by you. Then do you think that I like being ridiculed by your friend? He mocked coldly, revealing his white teeth, and his deep eyes flashed with a bit of coldness. It was hard to tell whether he was really angry or not. If it was someone else standing in front of me today, they would have been sold to Thailand long ago. Tao Yuan's face was flustered. Don't mess around, she's also helping me. Pimping you is helping you? She's really a piece of work. Being friends with such a person, no wonder you're getting more and more arrogant. I don't allow you to criticize my friend, she said with righteous indignation, which made her even angrier than him insulting her. So you can just watch your friend criticize your husband? She's telling the truth, we're going to divorce anyway. And what's the purpose of doing all these things? She's not wrong, don't treat me as a fool. She once had a vision and she also wanted to lie to herself. Even just 10 minutes ago, she was almost immersed in the dream that he weaved for her. However, reality was reality. After leaving that romantic environment, the biting cold wind calmed Tao Yuan down a lot. I always knew that you're good to me now just to make me fall in love with you again and then hurt me again. Because you, Lu Li, are the noblest person in the world, and it's always you who betrays others. How can you be betrayed by others, especially me, the lowest woman in your eyes? Is that right? There was a sneer on her lips, and she tried to make herself say these words in the most indifferent attitude, but her heart still hurt. It shouldn't be like this. Hadn't she already completely lost hope in him? When he just came back, she didn't feel bad when he and Zhang Mingmei teamed up to deal with her. She felt that this person was just a familiar stranger that she used to love, but now she had no feelings for him at all. How long had it been and she was going to jump into the fire pit again? No, absolutely not. Lu Li's heart felt as if it was being squeezed by a hand, and it was throbbing with pain. From that arrogant face, he couldn't see any emotion, but his pupils deepened a little, still like a bottomless cold pool, pitch black and boundless. This was the original reason he really couldn't stand her attitude of disdain towards him. She was clearly a pitiful person who followed behind his ass, but suddenly she didn't care about him and avoided him. If it were anyone else, they would also feel a psychological gap. So he used many ways to provoke her, wanting to provoke a reaction from her. But over time, living in such a noisy way, the situation seemed to be different, and the feeling gradually changed. He was more and more unclear about what kind of feeling he had for her now. In short, he was always thinking about her, and when he was at home every day, he would feel at ease seeing her busy. Once he left the house, he would feel a sense of loss. He, who was the most focused on a job, would often lose focus thinking about her. For example, this afternoon, when he received the message from her for the first time, he actually felt a long-lost surprise. His fingers landed on the message, but he refused to open it, constantly guessing what she would say. It definitely wouldn't be anything good, but he couldn't help but look forward to it. Chapter 488. At that time he was in a meeting and the atmosphere was very serious. In front of so many executives he laughed foolishly. When that woman sent that text, she must have thought about it for a long time. In order to deliberately show her indifference, she must have deliberately not typed any punctuation marks. It was really not obvious at all. The executives all looked at each other, probably because they had never seen him laugh in a meeting. In order to pretend to be cool, he deliberately did not reply to her text. After the meeting, he made a few phone calls and asked a few of his bad friends to go to a nightclub. He wanted to deliberately go home late to make her anxious and upset. But when he was about to get off work, he went back on his words and stood them up. When he found out where she was, he rushed over. So now that she was accusing him of his crimes, Lu Li really did not know how to explain it. Silence, an embarrassing silence. Tao Yuan hoped to hear an explanation from Lu Li, any word would be good. However, he said nothing. Her heart continued to fall to the bottom of the valley, and continued to sink deeper and deeper into the abyss. Wasn't this kind of questioning very ridiculous? Since she had already pointed out all the facts, what kind of explanation did she expect to hear from him? It was already in front of her, there really was no need to say anything more. She used all the strength she had in her life to disguise herself and smiled faintly. But this does not affect me at all. My feelings for you have already ended a few years ago. Since I don't love you, then you can't hurt me. It's quite embarrassing here, let's go back. She wanted to get into the car, but when she passed by Lu Li, he grabbed her wrist. But this time it was different from usual. It was not a very rough kind of restraint. Tao Yuan could even feel the bones in his fingers trembling. His head was half lowered, and his eyes seemed to be suppressing a lot of emotions. His lips were in a straight line, tightly pressed together, as if he had something to say. What are you doing? I want to go back, let go. I don't like you being with other men. Lu Li mustered up a lot of courage to admit this fact. He looked up at her, his eyes surging with a lot of emotions. He was suppressing it, but the more he suppressed it, the more the emotions came out of his eyes. It was so strong that it could not be ignored. Tao Yuan was stunned for a moment, but she quickly stopped herself from overthinking and mocked. Of course you don't like it. How could a proud man like you allow a woman you despise and hate to wear a green hat? How could you allow me to tarnish the reputation of the Liu family? Don't you understand me? His gaze darkened and he gritted his teeth. It's not because of any external factors, nor is it because of the Liu family. It's just that I don't like it. Her heart palpitated even more, and her slender body could not help but tremble slightly. What he said was very damaging to Tao Yuan. No matter how rational she was, she couldn't stop her imagination from running wild. The hand that was holding her conveyed his concern for her through strength and warmth. It was not as simple as a man's desire to control her. That's only because of your ridiculous pride. In the end, they were all despicable. Even if it was a woman you didn't want, it would still make you unhappy if she got involved with another man. But here you are. Do you want it? I'm not a chicken rib and I'm not a chicken rib to you. Do you understand? Do you have to twist my words like that? His face twitched a little as if he was hurt. Luli was hurt? Aha, the only woman in the world who could hurt him was Tao Yanran. And she, even if she was reincarnated 10,000 times, she would not have that ability. Tao Yanran was a thorn in Tao Yuan's heart. Every time she thought of her, she would become sensitive and angry, and her face became ugly at this moment. Then how do you expect me to understand? I thought that you were jealous and then I let you mock me? Sorry, I'm not that ignorant. Lu Li's heart was squeezed by a hand. Jealous? Maybe I really am jealous. This cold joke is not funny at all. Let go of me, it's not good if someone sees it. She twisted her wrist a few times, struggling. Lu Li, you. However, when she met his dark and deep eyes, her words stopped at the tip of her tongue. He had never looked at her with such a deep gaze. It was so repressed, yet so surging as if there was a turbulent torrent in his eyes. In the beginning I also thought that it was a matter of pride. I couldn't bear to see you living better than me, and I couldn't bear to see you cuckolding me. But it seems that it's not just that. He frowned as if he was confused. That kind of expression appeared on his usually arrogant and confident face, and it was not appropriate. Any intimate action between you and Fang Yicheng would make my heart feel uncomfortable, a kind of sour feeling. Including tonight when you went on a blind date with another man. I had an urge to kill him. You're my woman, why can't you just stay by my side? Why do you like to flirt so much? Ha, but you're so dazzling and those men always surround you like flies. Lu Li gritted his teeth. Tell me, if you're not jealous, how do you explain all of this? Tao Yuan was completely stunned. She never thought that she would hear these words from Lu Li. She tried very hard to think that he was acting, but after more than 10 years of love, she understood this man too well. She didn't think that he was lying. He was jealous? Jealous for her? How could that be possible? Her heart was flustered and in a mess. She was like an ostrich trying to escape from everything. Don't say these strange things anymore. What you said. I don't believe a single word. Let go. Ah, bam. She was pressed against the car, and just as she was about to reach out to push him, Lu Li had already locked both his arms. His body pressed against her without any resistance, as if he wanted to embed into her body. The muscular man's body was like a huge magnet, hard, strong, and at the same time, it emitted a strong magnetic field stimulating her. Tao Yuan was already in a mess, and being suppressed by him like this made her even more helpless. She could feel how pathetic she was at this moment. At any time, someone would pass by and see that she was being played by him like prey. She opened her mouth to scold him, but when she met that pair of abyss-like dark eyes, she couldn't say a single word. Her heart was so flustered that it was indescribable. He just suppressed her like this, not moving at all, not saying a single word, and there was no emotion in his eyes. The smell of tobacco mixed with a strong male scent kept drilling into her nose, seeping into her heart and softening her strength. During this process she was still constantly twisting, her breathing was rapid, her body was burning, and she was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. I said I'm jealous, why don't you believe me? He finally spoke. His gloomy voice seemed to be mixed with flames, burning fiercely with a hint of accusation. Is there a single truth in your mouth? Why should I believe you? I've never lied to you. Tao Yuan's body froze. That's right. He didn't even bother to lie to her. His hatred for her had never been concealed, because he didn't need to consider her feelings. If there was a need, it was just to consider how to make her life worse than death. To Lu Li, admitting that he was jealous, especially in front of Tao Yuan, was a very difficult thing to do. However, when he finally faced his heart, she didn't believe him, which made him feel a little angry. Because that was equivalent to trampling on his feelings. Then maybe you're lying to yourself. We're just a nominal couple. How could you be jealous for a woman you hate? That's right, I also want to know. Lu Li curled his lips and coldly smiled. Suddenly, he pinched her delicate jaw and forcefully pressed it down as if he was punishing her. I also want to know, Tao Yuan, what kind of charm do you have to make me jealous for you? These few years your transformation was all because of me? You want to be reborn so that one day I can see you in your dazzling glory and regret that I've let you down? Tell me, is that what you think? Tao Yuan met his cold eyes and smiled slightly. A long time ago I thought like this. I wanted you to regret, I wanted to take revenge on you. I wanted you to know that you've hurt such a good woman. I wanted you to know that all the women around you added up together can't compare to me. But slowly I realized that there was no meaning. In the process of trying to transform, I loved myself more and more. I loved the mature and independent me. I loved that I could rely on my own ability to do anything I wanted to do. I slowly became better day by day, to the point that I felt that you weren't worthy of me. You weren't worth my sadness, nor were you worth my effort. Everything I did was no longer for you but for myself. Now that I'm beautiful and capable, what kind of man can I not have? Why must it be you, Lu Li? So, no matter which woman you're with now, I don't feel anything because you're degrading yourself. And I won't degrading myself for you anymore. You're not everything in my life anymore, you're just a familiar stranger. In the deepest part of his deep eyes, there were two clusters of flames igniting. Lu Li's chest heaved up and down, suppressing his anger. I'm just a stranger to you? Yes. Then, will you let a stranger stay in your house? Will you let a stranger kiss you, hug you, and press down on you like this? That wasn't my request, but you forced it. I just didn't have the strength to resist. Are you unable to resist, or do you not want to resist? His nose opened and closed, the man's scorching breath unrestrainedly sprayed on her face. You think you don't care about me anymore, but in fact you still care a lot. He pressed her lips. Don't deny it. Your mouth can lie, but your eyes definitely can't. How much you care about me, your heart is also very clear. His finger fell on the position of her heart, as though it had directly pierced through her heart, leaving no place to hide, no place to hide. Tao Yuan opened her mouth, unable to say a word to refute. When I said that I care about you, it's true. When I said that I'm jealous for you, it's also true. You believe me, right? His body continued to squeeze into her body, clearly already inseparable, but he still felt that it wasn't enough, as though he would only stop if he merged into her bones and blood. You also know very well that you still have feelings for me. If you really don't care about me like you said, you wouldn't have been so agitated just now. Admit it, when it comes to feelings you can't lie to anyone, especially you. Lu Li had never been so convinced that Tao Yuan still loved him, deeply loved him, which also made him feel a trace of satisfaction from the bottom of his heart. Since you don't want to be entangled with me for more than 10 years, then for the rest of your life, we'll continue to love and kill each other like this. His smile was like the devil but also like a gentle lover. Chapter 489. Tell me, if you're not jealous, how do you explain all this? I said I'm jealous, why don't you believe me? I've never lied to you. Admit it, you can't lie to anyone about feelings, especially you. Since you don't want to be entangled with each other for more than 10 years, then for the rest of your life, you can continue to love and kill each other. You can't escape. The milk is spilled. Her fingers were scalded and Tao Yuan came back to her senses. The glass was full of milk. She didn't sleep well last night and now her mind was full of his words. She was out of it. When she turned around, she saw the culprit who caused her to lose her mind standing behind her in a bathrobe. He looked energetic and looked at her with a faint smile. She panicked even more. She quickly turned around, took 2 pieces of tissue and wiped the spilled milk on the table. Why are you so distracted so early in the morning? Didn't you sleep well last night? Lu Li poured a glass of water. The transparent glass was illuminated by the sunlight, just like his face. Under the sunlight, it revealed a pure sexiness, like the handsome god Apollo. This man had 2 faces. He could be like the devil Satan, but he could also be incomparably handsome. I slept very well, he said to himself. Tao Yuan's back was facing him, and her fingers were wiping the table in a panic. She said coldly, "No one asked you. But I want to know, I slept well because of you?" He put one hand on her side and naturally trapped Tao Yuan in the crook of his arm, half trapping her, and blew a breath of hot air into her ear. "Hey, what are you doing? I'm just taking breakfast. Why are you so nervous?" Lu Li took the sandwich and slowly straightened up. His eyes were full of naughty smiles and he was extremely frivolous. "You did it on purpose. She accused him. On purpose what? Deliberately flirting with you? You're thinking too much. He took a bite of the sandwich and his posture was casual. He didn't have the serious look of a CEO in front of others. He was just an ordinary family man. In front of her he was very relaxed. He knew this very well. He didn't need to guard against this woman. I didn't think too much. Then why are you blushing? Who's blushing? I'm not blushing. Tao Yuan argued and touched her face subconsciously. It was indeed a little hot. You do. He stared at her, his eyes burning. I didn't. You do. I didn't know. She emphasized loudly, but the louder she was, the more guilty she was. You're really bad at lying. Lu Li shook his head with a sly smile in his eyes. What? If I say I'm jealous, why are you so happy? Who's happy? Do I have the word happy written on my face? Even if there were words written on my face, it would be, you are very annoying. I don't believe a word you said about jealousy. Don't be so stubborn. Women tend to believe what they want to hear. You say you don't believe me, but you're very happy. It's written all over your face. Lu Li pointed with his finger. He had an expression that said, no matter how you quibble, I'm still so confident. Thus Tao Yuan was a little flustered. Her eyes blinked quickly, her eyelashes fluttering, and her cheeks couldn't stop blushing. How could this be? She couldn't resist at all. Why are you making me feel uncomfortable so early in the morning? You're so annoying. She said with disdain. Why aren't you moving away? I still have the same saying. If a woman says she hates you, then she likes you. The more she hates you, the more she likes you. You say you want me to move away, but in your heart, you really want me to stay, right? Tao Yuan pursed her lips. I've never seen someone with such a poor comprehension ability. Don't you need to learn Chinese if you study finance? Or was your Chinese taught by a math teacher so you don't understand human language? What I said is that I hate you and want you to move away. What you say and what you think are two completely different meanings. I'll just understand it the other way around. You really know how to find a way out. Are you the most handsome man in the world? Lu Li smiled. You finally said something true. Although you don't mean it, you have good taste. I can't be bothered to argue with someone like you. This isn't arguing, it's bickering. Don't you think it's fun to bicker like this every day? I actually enjoy it. That's because you're thick-skinned. I'm going to ignore you, I'm going to work. Tao Yuan rejected Lu Li's kind offer to send her to work and drove to the hotel by herself. In the large office, a group of female employees were gathered together, chattering about something while putting on makeup. Upon a closer look, all of them were gorgeously dressed, each more delicate than the other. Most of the people in her group were weirdos, but they were all quite beautiful. Otherwise they wouldn't be so arrogant. How's my makeup? Isn't it a little too thick? It can't be. If you don't dress up a little brighter, how will Appa notice you? It's a pity that I have to wear a uniform or else I... What about you? Are you wearing a bikini? Humph, what's the big deal about a bikini? In order to attract Appa's attention, I'll wear sexy clothes even if he wants me to. How do you know Appa likes sensual ones? Maybe he likes pure and innocent ones. Oh right, that's hard to say. Then I'd better not put on that red lipstick. Tao Yuan walked over and asked. What's going on? They exchanged glances and one of them said. The Korean celebrity Kim Cheol is checking in today. When did you notify him? Tao Yuan furrowed her brows. Why didn't I receive the email? Usually when a big celebrity checked in, the hotel would prepare it a few days in advance. I sent it to you. Didn't you see it? Maybe it was classified as spam. Tao Yuan knew that they were purposely messing with her, but there was no point in bickering about it. What time is he checking in? 10 o'clock. She glanced at her watch. It was already 9:40. Xiaoqing, arrange a room with a sea view for him and check it carefully. Why do I have to go? I'm going to welcome him. Do as I arrange. Xiaoqing left unhappily. It's about time. You guys go first. Tao Yuan used 5 minutes to deal with some work and hurried over. Kim Cheol had just entered the hotel. She walked very fast. Just as she reached in front of him, she suddenly sprained her ankle. Seeing that she was about to fall in front of Kim Cheol, he reached out and held her in his arms. His blonde hair made his face look even fairer and more exquisite. The thin lips under the sunglasses were slightly raised, and a pleasant voice came out. Hello, baby. We haven't seen each other for a few years and you're hugging me so passionately? I like it. Tao Yuan blushed. She steadied herself and stood up. Welcome to Wilton. The female staff were all envious of Tao Yuan. Why weren't they the ones being hugged by him? Damn it. This scene was witnessed by Lu Li, who was on the second floor not far away. The man who was originally in a good mood turned gloomy, and his face turned slightly green. "Who's that sissy?" Zhou Xingyang glanced at the entrance of the hotel, where a golden-haired man was hugging a woman. Taking a closer look, the woman was actually Tao Yuan. No wonder Lu Li was glowing green. That, Zhou Xingyang cleared his throat. He's the most popular young male singer right now, Kim Cheol from Korea. Lu Li gave him a look that said, "How do you know this guy?" "My sister is his diehard fan. She has a lot of posters of him at home. As far as I know, from aunties in their 40s to little girls in the 2000s, they're all crazy about him." Lu Li sneered. "Blonde hair and fancy clothes. What are you talking about? Do women nowadays like non-mainstream men?" Zhou Xingyang could tell from his tone that he was a serious old man. Actually, he was not even 30 years old, right? He was jealous. He was definitely jealous. Well, it's really hard to tell the aesthetic taste of women nowadays. Anyway, they all like this kind of beautiful men. Beautiful? I think he's a sissy. You mean from Korea? Then he must have had plastic surgery. No wonder his face is so fake. He's a Chinese-Korean mix. My sister said that he's the only natural beauty among the male stars in Korea. He didn't have plastic surgery. Lu Li rolled his eyes at him. Zhou Xingyang realized that he had said the wrong thing and kept quiet. This woman didn't even let go of a Korean ladyboy. Her tentacles really extended far. Lu Li thought unhappily. Fang Yiqing had just left, and now there was this strange thing. It seemed that she wouldn't be satisfied until she angered him to death. Tao Yuan sent Kim Cheol to his room. He chatted with her on the way, and she felt like she was drowning in jealous gazes. When they reached the room, Kim Cheol wanted her to stay and continue chatting. Tao Yuan could only find an excuse to reject him. The moment she returned to the office, the female staff surrounded her instantly. "Team leader, how do you know Appa? Are you close?" "He treats you very well. He keeps talking to you and doesn't even look at us." There was a sour tone. "Is he going to treat you to dinner tonight? Can you bring us along?" It was the first time that Tao Yuan received such passionate attention. She felt a headache coming on. "I know him from before, but not as close as you think. I have other plans tonight, so I won't be having dinner with him." "Then help us get his autograph. It's best if you can introduce us to him. What's his WeChat number?" "I don't talk to him much, so I'm not sure." "Go do what you need to do. Don't be so nosy." After that, she went into her small office and heard the endless grumbling outside. "What do you mean just know him? We're not that close." "I think Appa's attitude towards her is very unusual. He doesn't even talk to others." "Do you think he likes her?" "How is that possible? We're much prettier than her." "Like a married woman? Appa doesn't have such strong taste." "Maybe Appa doesn't know. And you can't underestimate her charm. Isn't Manager Fang fascinated by her?" Just now, she deliberately fell into his arms and took the initiative to hug him. "Disgusting. Isn't it? Do you think we're blind? Manager Fang, Boss Lu, and now Appa. How many men does she need to be satisfied?" "Exactly. Why do you insist on hogging so many? You're not even willing to share a single one with us. Acting high and mighty. Shameless." Tao Yuan shook her head. She just felt that it was funny. A woman's jealousy was too scary. Just as she sat down, she received a text from Jean Cheol. Sure enough, he asked her out for dinner. After receiving Jean Cheol's invitation to dinner, Tao Yuan found an excuse to dodge the invitation. After cleaning up the mess for the whole day, she got off work in a daze. Just as she entered the underground garage, a sports car stopped in front of her. Chapter 490. In the 360-degree revolving restaurant, there was a live piano performance. As it was nearing the end of the year, the restaurant was wrapped in a romantic Christmas atmosphere. The Christmas tree was a few meters tall, twinkling with colorful lights. Looking down at the whole city from the floor-to-ceiling window, the neon lights flashed. Tao Yuan rested her chin on one hand and looked out of the window without blinking, as if she was drunk and a little drunk. But what made her dizzy was not the wine, but the beautiful scenery of the city. "I like the end of the year the most. The whole city is bustling and bright, and everywhere is filled with a festive atmosphere. It's so beautiful, really beautiful." Tao Yuan sighed. "No matter how beautiful it is, it's not as beautiful as you." Jean Che gently swirled the wine glass, staring at her, his amber eyes rippling with circles of tenderness. His golden hair made his skin look even fairer, and his facial features were exquisite and beautiful like a comic book prince. When the corners of his mouth curled up, It was like a smile that was not a smile, like a blooming rose. It was unavoidable to be amazed that such a beautiful man existed. Tao Yuan smiled. Thank you for your compliment. By the way, why are there only the two of us in the restaurant? Don't tell me you booked it? I'm a superstar now and I have a large group of fans wherever I go. I want to have a meal with the person I like, so this is the only way. It's just a little bit of money, don't worry about it. A few $100,000 is just a little bit of money? You're really generous. But it's true, you're the most popular fresh meat now, and you're earning so much money that your hands are sore, right? I heard that your fans gave you sports cars and villas on your birthday. That's crazy. Sometimes it's quite troublesome to be liked by too many people, and I can't even have a quiet meal. Jean Che shrugged. But you enjoy this feeling, right? You were born to do this, and I'm really happy for you to have your current achievements. Everything I have now was given by you. If you hadn't saved me that night, I would have been dead. Jean Che recalled. Before that night, I was just a hooligan, fighting and killing people on the streets every day. I was chased by my enemies, blocked in a corner and beaten half to death, but no one dared to do anything. It was you who saved me. You even gave me a sum of money so that I wouldn't sink any further. I still remember you telling me that everyone can start over. If I want to, it's never too late. After my injuries healed, I joined SJ Entertainment as a trainee. After training for 2 years, I became famous in just half a year. I will never forget that you gave me a new lease on life. Thank you. What I did was just a slight effort. The person you should really thank is yourself. That day when I first saw you on the screen, I knew that you would shine as brilliantly as you did today. Congratulations. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. The two goblets clinked together, emitting a crisp sound. Tao Yuan felt happy for Jean Che from the bottom of her heart. Everyone had a time when they went astray, and there was also a time when they fell to the bottom. If someone had given you a hand, your whole life would have changed. She used to love Luli without any dignity. If it weren't for the fatal blow that night, she would probably still be a tragedy. For the next few years, she relied on herself and knew how tiring it was to be alone. So, if she could help others, she would be very happy. Everyone could be reborn once more. She and Jean Che were people who had been reborn. They knew better than anyone else how to cherish what they had now. I've been too busy these 2 years and rarely contacted you. How have you been? Still the same, busy with work every day. You don't even have time to date? You even rejected my invitation. Other men should have no chance, right? You can't be like this. Tao Yuan shrugged and did not say anything. Do you need a boyfriend? Will you consider me? She was amused. I don't think so. First of all, I don't like relationships with younger men. Second of all, I don't want to become public enemy number 1. You're on the rise now. If you have a girlfriend, you'll lose fans. Your company won't agree, right? Jean Che smiled and did not allow for an answer. Then why don't I introduce you? The boss of our Korean company is not bad. He's handsome, rich, and has a good character. Why? Do I hate marrying him so much? Even you, as my younger brother, have to worry about my marriage? I just care about you. Thanks. But if you want to help me, stay at Wilton Hotel a few more times. Just treat it as promotion among your fans. Needless to say, I'll definitely stay there. It'll be more convenient to see you. Forget about seeing me. My subordinates were so jealous of me today that they were going crazy. If there's any scandal, it'll be bad for your development. If there's anything, just text me. See, this is the bad thing about being a star. Even making friends has to be so complicated. But you're different. You're my benefactor. When I want to see you, I won't think about anything else. Jean Che pointed to his heart and said gratefully, You'll always be the most special family in my heart. While they were eating, Tao Yuan's phone rang. Seeing the word hubby flashing on the screen, she realized that she had forgotten to inform Lu Li that she would not be home to cook. Wait, she clearly did not save his number. She had edited it as hubby. That man was too thick-skinned. She hung up. You're not going to answer it? Huh. It's a sales call. Oh. Less than 2 seconds later, the call came in again. Tao Yuan adjusted the vibration, but it still didn't stop. Even Jean Che noticed it. You'd better answer it in case he keeps calling. Okay. Before she could speak, the other party asked in a low voice. Where? The gloominess made her a little uncomfortable. She answered. Dinner. You should be cooking at home at this time. Sorry, I forgot. You solve it yourself. Solve it myself? How do you want me to solve it? Tao Yuan thought that he didn't even know how to eat. Then she would have to hang a pancake around his neck when she went on a business trip in the future, lest he starve to death. I'm busy now. Where? With whom? She didn't like his questions, so she took a deep breath. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Don't call again. Jean Che took a sip of red wine and asked, "Oh, a suitor?" "He's just an insignificant person. Don't worry about him and continue eating." Although Tao Yuan said so, her heart was still disturbed by Lu Li's phone call. He was a very difficult person to deal with. He would definitely not give up just like that. So after dinner, she said that she had something to do and had to leave. The two of them went down to the lobby. Before they walked out of the door, they saw a large group of reporters holding up their cameras and taking photos. Damn, how did they know I was here? They are really haunting me. Jean Che used his back to block Tao Yuan. You leave through the back door first, I'll deal with them. Okay. Tao Yuan lowered her head and hurriedly left with the manager. Jean Che adjusted his coat. As soon as he went out, the camera flashes kept flashing, almost blinding his eyes. However, he was used to it. Who is that woman just now? Your girlfriend? Did you just come down from the hotel above? Where is she from? Korea or China? Is she from the entertainment circle? I'm just having a meal with a friend. You don't have to make such a big scene, do you? Jean Che joked. Such a big scene with just the slightest movement. Are you going to let me eat? The reporters were not so easy to fool and continued to ask questions. You came to see her as soon as you came back to China. She must be a very important person, right? How can it be simple to just be a friend? I can only say that she is a very special and important person to me. Are you satisfied now? Tao Yuan escaped from the back door and a few reporters chased after her. She is there, hurry up and take pictures. She covered her head and face with a hat and ran faster than a rabbit. Seeing that she was about to be caught up, a jaguar rushed over and almost hit her. It stopped steadily in front of her. Get in. She hurriedly got in. Lu Li glanced at the rearview mirror and saw that he had lost the reporters. Tao Yuan was panting. Why are you here? What do you think? Do you think I won't know where you are if you don't tell me? You asked those reporters to come here? Do you think that it is a glorious thing for my wife to have an affair and that it is worth it for me to find so many people to take pictures? The husband came to the rescue when the wife was having an affair. As the husband, I have nothing to say, don't you think so? You should give me a 24 Filial Husband Award. Tao Yuan pouted. Don't tell me that your appearance here is just a coincidence. He must have installed a surveillance camera on her. He knew where she went. Didn't I come specially to save you? Why didn't I prepare more before having an affair with a celebrity? If you were caught just now, not only would you lose face, the whole Lu family would lose face because of you. Tao Yuan smiled. I don't think so. Something really happened, I would ask you for help. As a 24 Filial husband, you could just call the media. Who would dare to expose me? Seeing her shrewd like a fox, Lu Li was a little unhappy. I was wondering who gave you such courage. So it was me. Isn't it? This is the advantage of being the wife of a domineering CEO. Even if I had an affair, the reporters wouldn't dare to expose it. Do you think you can hide the truth? If you don't want people to know, don't do it. Everyone knows what kind of person you are. Oh, anyway, nothing happened this time, right? You care so much about the reputation of the Lu family. How could you watch me get caught? So you admit that you had an affair? Last time it was a sissy, this time it's a transvestite. You Tao Yuan really have a strong taste. You like this kind of weird, underdeveloped man. Don't you know that women nowadays like this kind? Are you talking about a man or a woman? I really doubt that he can satisfy you in bed. Tao Yuan was speechless for a few seconds. However, she was not a pushover that would be humiliated by him, so she immediately retorted. That's not a problem for you to worry about. Anyway, the person he wants to satisfy is not you. I'm just worried for you. If you had an affair with an incompetent man, you would have to bear the blame for nothing. That's not worth it. Lu Li said in a weird tone. You don't want a ready-made one. I don't know what you want. How would I know that you are good? I haven't tried. You mean you want to try? In that case, I can reluctantly let you verify my identity. Chapter 491. The two of them bickered, and Tao Yuan found it strange that Lu Li's reaction was so calm. If it was before, wouldn't he have thrown a tantrum, choked her neck, and called her a slut? But now he was in the mood to joke with her? What was going on in his head? You and him. What did you do? Oh, Kim Chiol? Was there another man? Tao Yuan wanted to reply, a man and a woman alone together, other than, what else could they do? But that kind of argument was meaningless, and she didn't want to bring shame to herself, so she answered honestly. We just had dinner. At the revolving restaurant? That's pretty romantic. But you had a candlelit dinner with him. I haven't eaten anything yet. In the big office, a group of women gathered together and whispered. It's really her? Am I right? How could it not be? She was wearing this outfit yesterday, it's definitely her. No wonder she got off work so early yesterday, so she went to meet her lover. It's fine if it's someone else, but it's Appa, my favorite Korean celebrity. I'm heartbroken. You're not the only one who's heartbroken. So many women like him, it's a collective heartbreak. He didn't have any scandals before. Look, the news said that Appa said that Tao Yuan is a special and important person to him. Isn't that the same as admitting a relationship? But she's married. What relationship? It's an extramarital affair. Maybe Appa doesn't know. That must be the case. Appa is such a pure man, he wouldn't have an extramarital affair. She must have kept him in the dark. How dare she lie to our pure and kind Appa, she's too hateful. That's right, a hypocrite. Are all men blind now? I like this kind of green tea bitch. Tao Yuan heard them scolding her from the door, but she still walked in as if nothing happened. Why are you here chatting so early in the morning? What's the big news? Leader, you're on the news. Xiaoqing said sourly. She's the #1 trending topic on Weibo, the mysterious Miss Cheol, the rumored first girlfriend of Kim Cheol. You believe in gossip? Why wouldn't you believe me? President's scandals are also true. Someone said sarcastically. President's new lovers often come to the hotel. It's not just the media. Leader, that's not very nice of you. You're obviously so close with Appa, but you can't even help me get an autograph. That's right. You secretly went on a date with him. Were you pretending to be unfamiliar with him because you were afraid that we would disturb your time together? The room was filled with the sour smell, and Tao Yuan almost died from the sourness. Perhaps it was because she was old. It was really difficult to understand the mentality of girls chasing stars nowadays. That person clearly did not belong to her, but it was as if he had stolen her boyfriend. What kind of logic was that? Given the current situation, even if she were to die to atone for her sins, it would still be difficult for them to feel comfortable. But why? She wasn't guilty in the first place. He is indeed my friend. I introduced you to him out of friendship. It's my duty not to introduce you. There's nothing more to say. Xiaoqing pursed her lips. Appa is so handsome. Of course you want to keep him for yourself. Why would you introduce him to us? I don't think it's as simple as a friend. Appa even admitted in front of the media that you are a special person to him. As for what's special, only you know. That's true. The more jealous they were, the calmer Tao Yuan became. She smiled. It's fine as long as we are clear about our relationship. There's no need to explain too much to others. If you're done gossiping, then disperse. Today's mission is very important. The few women left reluctantly. After a while, Jean Che's assistant came to look for Tao Yuan. He said that he was shooting a commercial at the hotel pool and asked her to look for him. She had no choice but to follow him. The weather was a few degrees below zero. Jean Che was wearing a pair of swimming trunks and jumping into the water time and time again. Tao Yuan shuddered as she watched. Therefore, being a celebrity really wasn't something an ordinary person could be. Apart from being good-looking, one had to be very professional and able to endure hardship. There was no such thing as easy money in this world, and no one would become famous for no reason. The director was only satisfied with the action of diving after repeating it for an hour. When the assistant left, Tao Yuan quickly took a towel and draped it over Jean Che. You must be cold too. Hurry and put on your clothes. No, I often swim in Korea. It's much colder than here. Jean Che flipped his wet hair childishly. His eyes were as pure as a deer's, and Tao Yuan felt her heart soften when she looked at him. That night when she saved him, she was moved by his pure eyes. Even though he was a hooligan, she felt that he was a good boy. He brought out her motherly side. Why are you looking at me like that? Are you infatuated with me? Jean Che teased. Tao Yuan flicked his forehead. Don't tease me, understand? Got it, sister. Tao Yuan was afraid that he was cold, so she dried his hair. After a while, she realized that it was too intimate and quickly retracted her hand. Dry it yourself. I'm going back to Korea soon. When? My flight is in 2 hours. I came back mainly to see you. Go back early if you are busy. Take care of yourself. Don't do this kind of scene in the winter. It's easy to catch a cold. Okay, I'll be careful. The next time I come back will be at least 3 months later. Can you send me away? Tao Yuan hesitated for a moment, but in the end she couldn't resist that pure deer's eyes and nodded. Okay. In the corner he sneakily took out a phone and recorded the interaction between the two of them. Tao Yuan sent Jin Che off as a hotel staff and reminded him. Did you bring your passport? Plane ticket? Identity card? Did you forget any clothes or shoes? Yes. Jin Che frowned. I shouldn't have asked you to send me off. You are so long-winded. Oh, then I'm going back. Seeing that she was about to leave, Jin Che quickly grabbed her wrist with a cheeky smile. I'm kidding. You like to nag. You think I like to nag? Isn't it because you're always forgetful and make people worry? If it weren't for the fact that you are not allowed to have a girlfriend now, I would introduce one to you. As soon as they walked out of the door, a group of reporters suddenly rushed out and took pictures of them with their cameras. The security guards couldn't stop them. The situation was quite out of control. Jin Che could only protect Tao Yuan in his arms. Che, is this the mysterious girlfriend from last night? Just a friend. Jin Che emphasized and pushed the reporter with one hand. Get out of the way. It's not as simple as just friends. Someone just told us that you two have been together for a long time. Here, this is the photo. Tao Yuan glanced at it vaguely. It was taken when she was drying Jin Che's hair in the swimming pool. Her first reaction was, could it be the few people in her group? A woman's jealousy was really terrible. The reporters were in a hurry to squeeze forward. Tao Yuan and Jin Che were sandwiched in the middle. Squeezing back and forth, the air in their lungs was almost squeezed out and they couldn't breathe. Get out of the way, all of you, get out of the way. Che, you are so protective of her and you still say that she is not your girlfriend? Do you know that you are the third party? What third party? What nonsense are you talking about? Don't you know that the person in your arms is the wife of the CEO of Wilton Hotel? Jin Che looked at Tao Yuan in surprise. When did she get married? Why didn't he know? Jin Che did a good job in public relations, plus his own character and taste were also highly praised, so the reporters instinctively sided with him, thinking that Tao Yuan hid the marriage and Jin Che was a mistress. So you don't know that she is Boss Lulu Li's wife? Tao Yuan didn't mean to hide it from Jin Che. Now she was more annoyed about how to deal with these annoying reporters, so she casually said to Jin Che. I will explain to you later. It's obvious that you are the mistress. What else is there to explain? The female reporter said sourly. Boss Lu has so many women outside so you can't stand the loneliness anymore? You seem to have a very ambiguous relationship with young Master Fong before. Did you hook up with Che because you broke up? Is this your way of taking revenge on Boss Lu? Tao Yuan frowned. She looked like a weak woman, but at this moment she was as strong as a suit of armor. Pay attention to your words, I can sue you for slander. I am telling the truth, you are married to begin with. If there is nothing between you and Che, why did you hide it from him? You are just guilty. The rich are so messy. No matter how messy the rich are, it is not as messy as you reporters. Many scandals are exaggerated by you, even inverted right and wrong to please the public. Once there is a little scandal, you will flock to it. In order to poach people, you will do anything. What is the difference between you and flies? How much evidence do you have for the accusations you are making now? Just because we came out of the building together last night, it proves that we stole it? That building not only has a hotel, but also a 360-degree revolving restaurant. But from the beginning, you used that dirty idea to infer what we did, so you didn't go to the hotel to verify whether we had booked a room or not. And I, the waitress of the restaurant, can prove that we only had a meal together. Of course you won't care about that. Even if you know, you will say that we went to get a room for the sake of attracting attention and making money, right? The female reporter was speechless, her face turning red and white. I don't need to explain anything to such a false accusation. Because people nowadays don't care about the truth, they will only believe what they want to believe. Jin Che and I have known each other for a long time, we are very good friends. Without evidence, you are making up nonsense and verbally attacking me at the same time, it is enough for me to take you to court. Her aura was majestic, the female reporter flinched. But there was still someone who did not give up and mumbled softly. Then he said that you are special to him? Isn't that very ambiguous? At this moment, Jin Che came back to his senses and explained. I said that she is special because when I was in Korea she saved me. Before I became a star, I was actually a gangster, no one dared to get close to me but she, a stranger, saved me when I was about to die, I am very grateful to her. This is the relationship between us, she is the closest person to me, not like what you said. Chapter 492. What's going on? A voice was heard. It was not a heavy voice, but it calmed everyone down in an instant. Everyone turned around to look. A figure stood there, his body plated with a layer of pale golden light. When the figure passed through the pale golden light and walked over step by step, the reporters were stunned. It was actually Lu Li. He had appeared in person. No matter how high Jin Che's value was, it could not be higher than this rich and powerful CEO in the Asia-Pacific region. Therefore, the reporters all rushed to him with their cameras and microphones. This man has such a strong aura. Jin Che was secretly amazed. He was Tao Yuan's husband? It was no wonder that he was surprised. In his eyes, Tao Yuan was the best woman in the world and deserved the best man. However, what he thought was outstanding was not because of her prominent background, nor was it because of money or power. Based on his understanding of her, she was the kind of woman who sought a low-key life. Marrying into a rich family was not her choice. Moreover, when did she get married? He actually knew nothing about it. However, this man called Lu Li had a kind of light that would make any woman fall at his feet. The storm was about to calm down. Why did he come out? Tao Yuan felt a headache coming on. When he walked towards her, she subconsciously took a step back. However, in the next second, his strong hand grasped her shoulder and pulled her from Jin Che's arms into his. She felt dizzy for a moment when she bumped into his muscular chest. Are you guys ganging up to make things difficult for my wife? It was a teasing voice, but the danger in it could not be ignored. The reporters looked at each other and asked after a while. Do you know the news about your wife and Jin Che? You mean the nonsense you made up? They are indeed very close. Didn't you hear it clearly just now? They are just friends. If it were you, who would you choose between me and Jin Che? The reporters were speechless. Wasn't the answer obvious? Even a blind man would choose Lu Li without hesitation, okay? My wife and I had some misunderstandings before, but they have been cleared up. We are very close now, as if we are in love. I trust my wife and want to protect her. If anyone dares to spread rumors, I will not let them off. Lu Li exuded an imposing aura. Even though he was smiling, it still gave people a chill down their spines. When you go back today, you will receive a letter from my lawyer. Within a week, the reporters who spread rumors will be completely removed from this circle. The reporters were so scared that their faces changed. Previously, when they exposed his news, he was unmoved. Why was he so ruthless this time? There were at least dozens of reporters at the scene. It was too ruthless. Boss Lu, there's no need to do this, right? We are also working, there is nothing we can do. That's right, Boss Lu, don't take it to heart. Don't be so serious. I can understand that you are working. But as I said, I won't allow anyone to hurt my wife, not even any slanderous rumors. Lu Li lowered his head and gazed at Tao Yuan affectionately. He pinched her chin with one hand. The demonic power in his eyes locked her in place, rendering her immobile. Really? My dearest madam. Tao Yuan did not remember how the farce ended. Anyway, when she came to her senses, she was already in Lu Li's office. The man took off his suit and threw it on the sofa, loosening his tie. How many times have I helped you out of trouble? It's too many times. Even someone with a good memory like me can't remember it all. I didn't ask you to help me. Tao Yuan turned to leave, but he strode over, grabbed her wrist and pressed her against the door. She was like a mosquito that was pinned, unable to move. At this time you should say thank you. Why should I say thank you? I can handle it myself. Don't be nosy. Besides, you are not helping me. You are just acting cool for yourself. The stubborn little woman was very cute, which evoked a rare tenderness in Lu Li. He did not know that he could be so patient with a woman. It was like teasing a little pet. He was addicted to it and could not stop. He just wanted to see her go crazy, wanted to see her bare her fangs and claws. Don't you know how to say thank you? I'm afraid that you can't bear it if I say it. You need a lesson. He put his arms around her waist and lifted her up. With a little force, Tao Yuan was so anxious that she cried out. Lu Li, now her feet were almost in the air and her body was half hanging on him. She felt very insecure. Then he went even further and kissed her on the lips. She stared at him sullenly. Say thank you. She gritted her teeth. So he kissed her again. Say thank you. Don't even think about it. Then I will kiss you until you are willing to say it. He kept kissing her, nibbling on her lips, entangling them deeply and lightly. She was pressed against the door by him, twisting her body. But the difference in strength between a man and a woman was too big. She could only be bullied by him. The tip of Lu Li's nose was against hers, and his eyes were like a wolf's. She, who had been kissed, was even more alluring. Her eyes were wide open because she was angry, and the black and white of her eyes were distinct, glistening and very captivating. He couldn't help but choke. This woman could ignite him in an instant. The self-control and composure that he had trained for so many years melted in front of her. He was like an impatient young man. Lu Li resisted this feeling, but he enjoyed it very much. You still won't say it? I can't help but suspect that you are deliberately not saying it because you want me to kiss you a few more times. Don't think too highly of yourself. Being kissed by you is like being bitten by a dog. I don't like it at all. You don't mean what you say. Who was the one who responded to me just now? Do you think I didn't feel it? You said that you have slept with many men, but your kissing was so jerky. That's because I don't like kissing you. Really? He smiled deeply. But I like your taste very much. Can you not describe it so disgusting? Disgusting? I like it very much. I'll give you another chance. Do you want to say thank you? Lu Li pretended to kiss her again. Tao Yuan was anxious and shouted in a low voice. Thank you. Looking at his smug smile, she felt extremely gloomy. She didn't like the feeling of being controlled, especially by Lu Li. I've already said thank you. Can you let go of me now? Be good. He kissed her on the lips before letting go. Tao Yuan covered her mouth and glared at him. You clearly said that you won't kiss me if I say thank you. That was different. That was a reward kiss. The man said shamelessly. If you don't listen to me in the future, I don't mind using this method to punish you. After letting go of her, Lu Li took the cigarette box on the desk, took out a cigarette, put it in his mouth and lit it up. Along with the smoke, his deep voice sounded. I can't tell that you're such a good Samaritan. You even went all the way to Korea to save a gangster. You're really great. You won't let any man off. It was clearly a good thing, but when he said it, it sounded like she had a motive and was very scheming. Tao Yuan thought that Lu Li was really hopeless. He couldn't see the good, he only saw the ugly. People with different views could not live together. It was better to divorce as soon as possible. I thought that you only liked obedient men like loyal dogs to lick you. Turns out that you like to keep them. What? Do you treat him as a pet? The relationship between people is not as dirty as you think. Of course, you can't understand what I'm saying. I just can't understand where you get your charm from. You attract so many men around you and all of them are so loyal to you. Can't understand? Aren't you also around me now? She retorted. I'm different from them. I won't be conquered by a woman. It's always been me who conquered women. I'm very honored that you're my current prey. Tao Yuan couldn't be bothered to discuss this very insulting theory with him. She just ignored him. Are you going back to the Lu family tonight? He suddenly said. After he mentioned it, Tao Yuan remembered that today was the 15th, the day she went home every month. How did you know? Don't look like I'm asking you. Qingwan is very upset on the 15th and 30th of every month. It's because of you, isn't it? During the years I was abroad, she didn't stop bothering me about it. Tao Yuan went with the flow. Since I'm annoyed with her and she's annoyed with you, to avoid everyone being annoyed, why don't we divorce? It's a relief for everyone. You really take the opportunity to mention that word. You know that the final result will be rejected by me. Is it fun? How do you know if you don't try? Maybe one day you'll think it through and agree to divorce. Didn't you hear what I said to the reporter just now? We're in love now. Do you think I'll divorce you when I'm the most interested in you? Divorce at least until I'm tired of you. Until, when you love me so much that you can't stop. By the way, I fired the employee who sent the photos to the media. He was really fast. Tao Yuan's sympathy for that person only lasted for a short second. A black sheep indeed couldn't be kept alive. She should be cruel. You're good at dealing with men. Obviously you can't deal with women. What does this mean? It means that I'm too beautiful and people are jealous of me. Can I go back now? I'm off work now. I'll go home with you. At 6:30, the two of them arrived at the Lu family. Su Baihe knew that Lu Li would come home today, so she waited at the door early. Seeing her baby son, she was very happy at first, but she didn't expect that Tao Yuan would get out of the car from the passenger seat. Her face darkened at once. Why did you come back together? On the way. Lu Li played it down. Su Baihe had hoped that Lu Li would come home today. In order to avoid him, Tao Yuan didn't go home. However, her hope was disappointed. She disliked Tao Yuan even more. Chapter 493. Tao Yuan thought that the mosquitoes came earlier this year. Su Baihe's words always went in one ear and out the other, so she pretended not to hear anything. In the first year of her marriage, she was ordered around by this pair of mother and daughter every day. She worked hard to cook, but Su Baiha directly smashed the bowl, saying that she didn't even want to feed the dogs and that she didn't know how to cook. Since she disliked her so much, she could just leave. Why blame her for not knowing how to cook? As for why she came back so late, she should blame her son for dragging her away from work. He even brought her around Motu City a few times for no reason, which was why she came back so late. Say something. Are you mute? Tao Yuan ignored her and directly entered the villa. Look at her, what kind of attitude is this? How can she treat her mother-in-law like this? She's so arrogant and uncultured. Su Baiha was furious and complained to her son. Enough, Mom. It's just a small matter. Aren't you tired of arguing the moment you come back? Luli didn't mind. She's the one putting on airs. I'm her mother-in-law, so what's wrong with teaching her a lesson or two? She's still putting on airs. She's like this in front of me, but in front of your father, she's another person. She's too scheming. During dinner, Lu Yanting asked about Tao Yuan's work situation, and she replied that everything was fine. Dad, why are you only concerned about her work situation and not her relationship situation? Someone is the female lead of a scandal and is in the limelight. Lu Qingwan sarcastically said. Su Baiha immediately asked, what's going on? Wasn't she having an ambiguous relationship with that Fang Yicheng? Now that he went back to take over the Fang group and doesn't want her anymore, she turned around and hooked up with a Korean celebrity. Mom, he's the one you like, the most popular male celebrity, Kim Cheol. Kim Cheol? Isn't he only 20 years old? That's right. That's why someone has a wide range of interests. She doesn't even let off a 20-year-old fresh meat. She's really capable. Lu Yanting frowned. What nonsense are you talking about? You only know how to stir up trouble every day and never stop for a moment. I'm not trying to stir up trouble. The media has already been alerted and everyone in the hotel knows about it. You're the one who refuses to believe me. You're always siding with her. Tao Yuan, tell me, were you caught by the reporters going to a hotel with Jin Che? Did someone take an ambiguous photo? Tao Yuan put down her chopsticks and smiled at her. You have so much time to care about me. Is it because you can't find a boyfriend? What does it matter to you whether I can find a boyfriend or not? What does it have to do with you which man I'm close to? Tao Yuan asked. Who am I to you? Lu Qingwan screamed in agitation. You're my sister-in-law. After shouting, he regretted it, but it was too late. Oh, so you also know that I'm your sister-in-law? But in the past few years, have you ever respected me as your sister-in-law? Your behavior is improper. Why should I call you sister-in-law? My brother doesn't love you. You're the one who keeps pestering him. Since I'm such an annoying person, why do you have to pay so much attention to me? Aren't you tired of monitoring the people you hate all the time? Lu Qingwan couldn't argue with her, so she was very unhappy. Mom, look, she's bullying me again. I don't have so much time to bully you. You're the one who always likes to use my matters to make trouble for yourself. If you have so much time to care about whether I'm having an affair or not, you might as well find a proper job. If you have too much free time, people will hate you. Su Baiha was angry that her daughter was being humiliated and scolded. Who do you think you are? Who are you to tell me what to do with my daughter? Then why should I be criticized by her? Qingwan is doing this for the reputation of our Lu family. If it weren't for the fact that you're always entangled with different men, would it be like this? What? Someone caught you and angered you? Tao Yuan smiled faintly. She was calm and composed, bright and beautiful. It seems that you and your daughter are the ones who are angered now, not me. I've been talking to you calmly all this while, but your emotions are much more agitated than mine. You uncultured b*****. Enough. Lu Yanting slammed the table. Quarrel, you only know how to quarrel. Every time Yuanyuan comes home you guys have a big quarrel. Can you stop even once? You also know that it's because of her coming home. It's all her fault. Su Baiha pointed at Tao Yuan's face. She got angry when she saw Tao Yuan's calm face. She was clearly the daughter of a mistress of the Tao family. Her identity was so disgraceful, so why did she act like she was more noble than anyone else in front of them? Who gave her the right to be so arrogant? Yuanyuan has already been forced to move out by you guys. Can't you even tolerate her coming home twice a month? What do you mean by being forced to move out by us? It's clearly because she wanted to have an affair outside. Lu Qingwan retorted with a shrill voice. Did I falsely accuse you of what happened between you and Fang Yicheng and Jin Che? Aren't you entangled with them? Say it yourself. Tao Yuan really didn't want to explain a word. Who cared what the mother and daughter said and what they thought? But she still had to give Lu Yanting an explanation. Just as she was about to clarify, Lu Li, who had been silent at the side, spoke. They're just friends. As for those scandals, they are all fabricated by the reporters. He said calmly and casually, but the others were stunned. Lu Li was actually speaking up for her in front of the family? Tao Yuan almost suspected that her ears were playing tricks on her. He seemed to be very natural, as if he had always been protecting her and not the one who cursed her to death. He even looked at her as if she was so surprised. Brother, are you speaking up for her? Did you take the wrong medicine? Lu Qingwan was stunned. I'm just telling the truth. I'm not helping anyone. The truth is that they were caught by the reporters. What's wrong with you? You've been cuckolded, do you know that? Do you think you know better than me whether I've been cuckolded or not? Lu Li asked. He knew that Lu Qingwan wanted to help him, but when he heard their argument just now, he actually quite disliked what she did. The reason why Tao Yuan was so eloquent now was because of them, right? He could imagine how much she had suffered at home when he had just left. Wasn't there a saying? Who was willing to be thorny? Who was willing to be strong? They were all forced by reality. Tao Yuan was the same. Thinking about it, he felt a little heartache. Isn't that the obvious truth? What else could a man and a woman do in a hotel? Just chat under the quilt? After Tao Yuan came to her senses, she suddenly thought of something. You were the one who called the reporters at the entrance of the building that day, right? Lu Qingwan looked a little guilty. I don't know what you're talking about. I heard it from someone else. You know very well whether it's true or not. Since you can do it, just admit it. What's the point of hiding it? This provocation worked on Lu Qingwan, and she said confidently. So what if it's me? If I admit that I asked someone to follow you, will you admit that you cheated? She thought that this would force Tao Yuan to tell the truth, but she just took a sip of water slowly and said, I didn't cheat. I didn't cheat. What do you want me to admit? That day, I just had dinner with him at the 360-degree restaurant in that building. That's all. Of course you would say that. You're the best at quibbling. Lu Qingwan kept scolding and did not notice that Lu Yanting's expression was extremely ugly. Shut up. Lu Yanting roared. How could our Lu family produce such a shameful thing like you? Lu Qingwan was stunned by his scolding. Dad, it's fine if you're the one who's embarrassed, but you still got so many reporters to follow you. Do you want to make our Lu family restless? I'm also helping our family to get rid of a scourge. You're messing around. Don't tell me that I believe Yuan didn't do anything wrong to the Lu family. Even if she did, we shouldn't wash our dirty linen in public. You're embarrassing us too. Dad, shut up. Don't talk anymore. Go upstairs. I don't want to see you. Fine, I don't want to see you either. I've never seen people like you who can't tell right from wrong. Lu Qingwan threw down her chopsticks and rushed upstairs. Su Baihe quickly followed to comfort her. Tao Yuan had experienced this kind of farce countless times. The mother and daughter quarreled over and over again. Could even be called acting. They were the ones who stirred up trouble at first, but in the end they were the ones who suffered the most. Why didn't the Oscars award them a golden statuette? The anger on Lu Yanting's face gradually calmed down, but his expression was still forced. After eating 2 mouthfuls, he returned to the study. Tao Yuan continued to eat calmly. She didn't have enough for lunch, so she was a little hungry. You still have the mood to eat? Lu Li asked, amused. Why not? Today's food is delicious. You're heartless. If being heartless can make life easier, then there's nothing bad about it. Usually, this kind of person lives longer. My mom and sister are mad because of you. You must be happy in your heart, right? It's fine if you're used to it, but they should be the most angry today because you spoke up for me. Actually, there's no need. After all, I'm such a heartless woman. Even if you help me, I won't thank you. Lu Li smiled. As he got up, he suddenly bent down to her ear and blew a hot breath into her ear. I'll kiss you until you say thank you. As soon as Lu Li returned to the bedroom, Lu Qingwan ran in angrily. Brother, you have to give me an explanation. What now? Lu Li took off his suit and tie and threw them on the sofa. He pinched his eyebrows and used his remaining patience to deal with her. This sister of his had been spoiled since she was young. She had the classic princess syndrome and a bad temper. She would make a big fuss over a small matter. As the big brother, even he couldn't bear it. Why did you speak up for Tao Yuan? Did I? Chapter 494. Lu Li's face turned gloomy when he heard such vile curses. Do you think it's appropriate for you to say this? How is it inappropriate? I've never treated her as my sister-in-law. She doesn't deserve it. I've never seen a woman more shameless than her. I've spent so much effort to help you, but you're still speaking up for her. Do you want to anger me to death? I think you're the one who wants to anger me to death, Luli coldly said. Do you think you're doing this for your own good? I'm her husband. Even if she did something wrong, I should be the one to deal with it. I don't need you to seek justice for me. But I'm your sister. How can I watch her do something wrong to you? Lu Qingwan cried. What drug did she use on you and Dad? Both of you are on her side. It's fine if you don't appreciate it, but you're still scolding me. Hearing her crying and scolding, Luli was a little annoyed. You're already 23 this year, right? Can't you find something to do? How can you treat her as a proper business? I'm angry when I think of her. If I don't chase her away, I won't be satisfied. I don't care what you're thinking. But let me tell you, whether you're willing or not, Tao Yuan is still my wife. She's your sister-in-law. Don't play so many tricks. Lu Qingwan's eyes widened. Her heart was broken. You're determined to help her? Brother, you've changed. You weren't like this before. Have you forgotten Sister Yanran? It was Tao Yuan who chased Sister Yanran away. She's the one who broke you guys up. She deserves to die. I'm taking revenge on her for you. Yanran. That name hurt Lu Li's nerves. He was annoyed and turned his face to the side. Okay. Go back to your room and rest. You'll regret it. Lu Qingwan ran out of the room. Lu Li was in the bedroom, so Tao Yuan didn't want to go upstairs so early. After watching TV for a while, she warmed a glass of milk and was about to put it into her mouth. Pa! The glass was slapped away and the milk splashed on the table. When he turned around, he saw Lu Qingwan's ferocious face. Her eyes were as red as blood. If looks could kill, she would have died 10,000 times by now, right? Unfortunately, under the torture of the mother and daughter, she had already cultivated a body of copper skin and iron bones, invulnerable to swords and spears. You bitch! Lu Qingwan slapped her in the face. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to defend against it, but Tao Yuan had practiced taekwondo before, so she quickly dodged it. Lu Qingwan used too much strength and stumbled, falling flat on her face. Tao Yuan held the milk and stood there unscathed, looking down at her with a mocking gaze. Slapping people when you're angry, is that what your mother taught you? You and your daughter are a perfect pair. You cheated on me so many times. You're shameless. You're the best. Lu Qingwan cursed. If she didn't have to pay with her life, she would have stabbed Tao Yuan to death long ago. How could such a disgusting woman still be alive in this world? She should have been hit by a car or struck by lightning. How did you bewitch my brother? Tell me. The more agitated she was, the calmer Tao Yuan was. She slowly blew away the hot air and drank a mouthful of milk. With his IQ, it's good enough that he doesn't bewitch others. How can I bewitch him? He even spoke up for you just now. That's just you embarrassing him. You keep saying that I cheated. Who's the most shameful one? Isn't it him? You said those words to me, but I don't care. He's the one who feels the most uncomfortable. You slapped him in the face like this, how will he treat you? Am I not telling the truth? Whether it's the truth or not, let's not talk about it first. But your actions have betrayed the fact that your IQ and EQ are both low. It could be said that Tao Yuan really didn't feel any pressure at all when fighting with the mother and daughter. When the two of them had a conflict, Lu Qingwan's actions were always stupid. Sometimes she hoped that she would take the initiative to provoke her and then teach her a lesson. Yes, your EQ is high. If your EQ is not high, how can you have a foot in several boats? Now even my brother has been bewitched by you. No matter what, having a high EQ is better than having a low EQ. How many times have you suffered losses and you still don't learn from it? Even I can't help but be disappointed. Are you mocking me? I just feel that it's a pity. The genes of the Lu family are quite good. Look at your brother, he's a top student from a famous school with an IQ of 180, but you don't even have a brain. I think your IQ has grown to his. Lu Qingwan couldn't beat her and she couldn't scold her. She was about to go crazy. It's just the same scolding over and over again. You're not tired of it, but I'm tired of hearing it. Can you be more creative? Oh, I almost forgot. You don't even have a brain, how can I expect you to be creative? Let me give you a piece of advice. Next time you want to find trouble with me, remember to take a photo of me and my adulterer before you complain. Otherwise, it'll be like this, a thankless task and making a fool of yourself. What's there to be proud of? Do you think you're pure and clean? You were raped a few years ago. You're already dirty. Tao Yuan's gaze turned sharp. When she mentioned this matter, she hated the mother and daughter to the bone. "You're already a used shoe, you." Splash. A glass of milk was poured on Lu Qingwan's face. The milk was still a little hot and Lu Qingwan screamed. The milk dripped down her face and her hair was also wet. She looked like a ghost. "You actually dared to pour it on me. Why not? Compared to the disgusting things you and your daughter have done, this is considered light. I'm warning you, don't mention that matter again. Otherwise I can do even worse things." Putting down the glass heavily, Tao Yuan left in large strides. Lu Qingwan cursed for a long time. After returning to her room, the more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She cried, took out her phone and begged. "Sister Yanran, when are you coming back? Come quickly." Tao Yuan returned to her room. She was full of anger. Lu Li had just finished reading the documents and put them aside. "Who angered you again? You're so angry. Who else? Isn't it your sister who will die if she doesn't cause trouble for a day? Do you have to be so mean? My mean tongue?" Her words are truly venomous. Tao Yuan took out a tissue and wiped the milk on her fingers. Lu Qingwan had just poked her sore spot again, so she was very annoyed now. She looked at Lu Li with anger. "She's still young. Why are you arguing with her? 23 years old. She's not young, right? It's just that she doesn't have a brain. You guys have spoiled her. She has such a bad temper. Sooner or later she'll be beaten up. Why are you saying more and more? Then ask your sister, what did she say to me? I can't do anything to her because she's already done the worst thing to me." Lu Li knew that she was referring to that night and he felt a little guilty. That was also a scar that he didn't want to mention. At first he was a little angry, but he forcibly suppressed it. Okay, don't argue with her. If I argued with her, she wouldn't be alive now. Tao Yuan couldn't be bothered to talk about that piece of trash anymore. "When are you going out?" "Why should I go out? I'm staying here tonight." "Me too. In that case I'm leaving." She reached for her bag, but Lu Li threw it aside. "Why did you throw my things? You're sick." "I don't want you to go. It's my freedom to go or not." "Why don't you want to?" "I don't want to stay in the same room with you." "Are you still not used to it?" "Dad is not in a good mood today." "Dad isn't in a good mood today. What will he think if you leave?" "Stay and have breakfast with him tomorrow morning." Considering Lu Yanting's feelings, Tao Yuan compromised. "You sleep in the bedroom and I'll sleep in the guest room." "Why are you so distant?" "The bed is so big it's enough for 2 people. It's not about the bed now, it's about me not wanting to share the bed with you. Not only that, I'm not even willing to share the room. Bedroom or guest room, you can choose one." The man's lips curled slightly to one side with a faint smile. "I choose you." "Sorry, there's no such option. I'll sleep in the guest room." She turned to leave, but Lu Li took a step forward and blocked her way. "If you don't understand me, I'll tell you once and for all. Tonight you have to share the room with me." "Why?" "Because I'm your husband. We're just a nominal husband and wife." "Really?" He smiled wickedly. "That's good. Tonight we'll make it real." As he said that, he carried her in a princess carry. Tao Yuan's feet were in the air and she could only wrap her arms around his neck. "What are you doing? Let go of me." "You're saying let go, but aren't you hugging me very tightly?" "I'll fall if I let go. Then you better hold on tighter, maybe I'll suddenly." As soon as he let go, Tao Yuan thought that she would fall and screamed in fright, but he hugged her tightly again. The man who had succeeded in his prank had a smirk on his face and raised his eyebrows. "Are you afraid? You're already an adult, yet you're still playing this kind of trick. Aren't you childish? Hurry and put me down." Her legs kicked wildly, trying to break free from his embrace. "Put me down, do you hear me?" The man's eyes revealed the wildness of a hungry wolf, his gaze burning. "Tonight I won't let you go." Tao Yuan's heart trembled under that burning gaze. Moreover, her whole body was in his arms, like a prey that had fallen into a trap, with nowhere to escape. She felt very uneasy. His eyes clearly said that he wanted to eat her up. She was so nervous that she trembled. Don't mess around. You're my wife, I won't mess around no matter what I do. I'm just enjoying the benefits of being a husband." Lu Li carried her to the big bed and threw her on the bed. Before she could dodge, the man's body had already pressed down on her. It was so heavy that she groaned, but he smiled smugly. "Do you like the feeling of being pressed down by me?" "You're crazy." Tao Yuan gritted her teeth and twisted a few times. As she struggled, his shirt was wrinkled and one of the buttons was undone, revealing a section of his strong pectoral muscles. Even though she had seen it many times, she still felt very uncomfortable, as if her eyes were burning red because of his skin. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.